消えた綺麗にも
Medusa, Epazos, Ashalalala, Susus, Minerva, Ecobubus. I love it when you couscous. Aphrodite, Bendisca, Oceanusus, Hera, Hermes, Icarus, Narcissus, Medusa, Epazos, Ashalalala, Susus, Minerva, Ecobubus. I love it when you couscous. Aphrodite, Bendiscus, Hera, Hermes, Icarus, I love Aphrodite, Bendiscus, Hera, Hermes, Icarus, I love it when you couscous, love it when you couscous, love it when you couscous, couscous, couscous. scissors.
Say you'll be mine, if only for tonight. Come on with me and love me till sunrise. I know that you want me all over you, all over your body. Let's not waste time, 'cause the moment feels right. So hold me close like we're not just strangers. Take my hand with life with no danger. Have to be lonely. Hold me close like we're not just strangers. Take my hand with life with no danger. Have to be lonely tonight. Lonely tonight. Tonight. Let's put away our problems and heartache. I'll make you forget all of your bad days. I know that you want me all over you, all over your body. Let's take our time, 'cause babe, I'm yours all night. So hold me close like we're not just strangers. Take my hand with life with no danger. Have to be lonely. Hold me close like we're not just strangers. Take my hand with life with no danger. Have to be lonely tonight. Lonely tonight. Tonight. Just wanna have fun. Babe, take me home. Don't leave me undone. We don't have to be alone. Just wanna have fun. Babe, take me home. Don't leave me undone. We don't have to be alone. So hold me close like we're not just strangers. Take my hand with life with no danger. Don't have to be lonely. Hold me close like we're not just strangers. Take my
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the penultimate playday of OCE. We're getting into it here, and I am lucky enough to be joined by Jake because Pengu didn't wake up for it. He messaged me and he was like, "Jake, I don't want to be awake for it. So can you cover for me?" And how lucky am I to have you here? How you doing?
That's not the reason, James. Don't throw Nick under the bus. He's got a busy day today, and he was like, "Who's the next best person they could bring in?" And it's not Guz, so that's just. But no, I'm excited. I will be on Asia later tonight as well, so it's a big day.
Really,
it's another,
you're doubling up, man.
It's another Super Saturday. We've been having a couple of these throughout the group stage, and obviously it's a lot of siege to get through. And for today, a couple of big games. We got word from Prod that we got a grudge match first up as well, and I don't think it's too far away from starting, so we'll kind of just zip through the pre-show shenanigans.
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. So first game, you talked about it. We've got 3 games on today. This is how OC League works out. Here's the standings. Look, Jake, nothing crazy surprising so far. A few individual upsets, and we do have every team in the league at least getting a win, which is nice. Bit of a departure from the Saga Esports saga in stage 1. But overall, like, standings are shaping up pretty much how we'd expect, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, always a bit of a funny one. We have to sort of reiterate that technically GG is, like, technically in the league, and so you get a bye because they can't play, and you do then get 3 points from that, which is why Chiefs in third right now haven't had their bye yet. So if you were to take away the 3-point bye point shenanigans, you do actually end up with Chiefs on top. So it's all a bit funky like that. It'll be easier once we actually finish the group stage to kind of go back, recap everything, and the one regulation win, for instance, for our last gaming is actually due to that bye system. But they have had a win at least in overtime, and did get word that player PC crash, rehosting the lobby. So we're no longer into the rush mode, and we can kind of talk about where things sit, which is a good thing because we've only got the 2 play days to go today and tomorrow, being the last 2 days of a group stage. And as of right now, Dream Warriors, of course, in that 7th spot. That's the big story. Of course, they've got the bye today, which I don't actually think that 3 points that you get from the bye has been added onto this particular graphic. They have, of course, had a win all the way back in Playday 1 against Outlast. So for the sake of this leaderboard, you may as well put them on 6 points tied with Outlast.
Yeah, which is cool to see, like I said, that every team is at least playing. And, of course, we have had some big upsets. I think the big one that stuck out to me is actually Chiefs beating Enterprise a couple of play days ago, especially because it was so dominant. Now, if I'm not wrong, Jake, you actually casted that game, right?
Yeah. Me and Guz have been doing quite a bit of host, yeah.
Yeah, so I've only done, I think, 1 or 2 play days so far, and I was half expecting it to be a bit of an Enterprise washout for the whole league. And, hopefully seeing Chiefs get some momentum. They had some bad results. Like, Chiefs got pushed really deep, 8-7 in their second play day against Outlast. And then I casted their really abysmal game against Man LFO.
Yeah.
Obviously, most people coming into the stage are like, it's going to be a 2, maybe 3 horse race between Enterprise, Chiefs, and Ludvica, similar to what happened in stage 1, but with no GG. And then we were like, maybe Chiefs aren't here to play. And then they beat Enterprise, and now it's harder to pick. But I will say it's nice to see Enterprise lead a little bit, because I think every now and then when we get a team that just gets completely unchallenged throughout groups and even into playoffs, sometimes it can be a bad sign for whether that team is actually able to go global. I think a lot of the time the teams that do perform best globally are the ones that have been tested and actually, had some tough games to prove that they can, fight from a comeback. So it's nice to see for EP. It's nice to see that we just have a competitive league.
Well, it's fascinating. I had the opportunity due to the Logitech G Rivals that we had on, which was great, awesome for the Tier 2 scene. Oda ended up actually coming down along with Quiz, and I was kind of chatting to him a little bit, and gave some insight into sort of like how they've been going, throughout this stage, which in some ways there are similarities to stage 1, which is not really, all that great. But then you go and get the win against EP, and suddenly that mental kind of shifts again. And for them going into that particular Enterprise game, they did a little bit of work behind the scenes, actually outside of the server, just to kind of try and find that passion going into games. They were kind of just, sleepwalking through some of the early play days, not really getting too excited. And I think they just really got themselves up for that Enterprise game, and it really showed. And I think the good thing for that is when I kind of looked at that match, we're putting a lot of emphasis on Fisher Guy and his strategical genius, if you will. So to be able to actually have enough passion to kind of break through the in-game barriers that may be there between the two teams, smash them 7-2, shows them now that they've actually got the in-game qualities to be able to take on a team like Enterprise later on in, playoffs, for instance. But yeah, I think that in terms of the way the stage has played out, though, in terms of that top 3, that's exactly what we had expected so far. I didn't envision anyone from 4th to 7th on the standings to break into that top 3. It's a pretty strong top 3. Ludvica have carried good form throughout this stage. A rough opening game for them against EP, but since then they've been faultless, and now they've got a pretty big game today. We haven't really touched on it, but obviously Chiefs and Ludvica will play off, and it feels like the winner of that should be able to secure then top 2, which gets you the bye to begin in playoffs, which that in itself is big. Enterprise should demolish TSG, but TSG had a good result last week, and so I mean, it's not always going to be clear cut, but Enterprise heavy favorites.
For sure, yeah. I think that last game's kind of the one write-off, but I think the first 2 here will likely have some legs to it. That Chiefs-Luda one, like you said, a lot of stakes behind that because there actually is a lot going on between 2nd and 3rd place due to how the playoffs work with that bye. Funnily enough, with a 7-team league and a 6-team playoff, there's only really like 2 battles. There's are you last place or are you in playoffs? And then are you in playoffs or are you in top 2? They're the 2 main battles, and Chiefs Luda is all about that. It's also Chiefs' last game, which is obviously to have a bye in their next play day tomorrow. So it's a chance for them to give us this last little flourish before we move into playoffs. Whereas Luda do have another game tomorrow where they'll likely pick up points against Man. So Chiefs really need that. If they lose, I'd be pretty confident they probably won't make it to the top 2. But let's start turning our attention to this first game of the day. Man LFO versus Outlast. You said it, Jake. It's a little bit of a grudge match. Now, after stage 1, Circular Spheres had a bit of a schism, and all of the players, pretty much most of the players, went and got picked up by Outlast, and then Circular Spheres rebranded to Man LFO, because in a way this kind of does resemble that old Hunter and Scars Man LFO roster from about a year and a bit ago, Jake. The one that was, at the time, the best challenger to Bliss before Bliss broke up into GG and Chiefs. And yeah, a bit of a mixed, I don't know, I've got mixed flavors out of this team. Obviously, always been a huge fan of Hunter. Beers has been phenomenal, and it's funny because I literally never heard of him before I started playing for this team, but I'm not convinced that these guys will actually be a real contest for the top teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that because up until, I guess, 5 days ago when they lost to TSG, I actually felt like they were contesting. I mean, they obviously beat Chiefs, and had they won that game against TSG, they'd be sitting on 9 points right now, tied with Ludvica and Enterprise. So I think this team has certainly got quality, but that TSG loss now kind of puts them back into the middle of the pack, and it's unfortunate because they were riding a pretty good wave, but maybe kind of crashing back down to where we imagine this team roughly should be anyway. Beers, of course, the brother of Scars, has been really, really good this stage, and we saw a snippet of him towards the back end of stage 1. And I think ultimately it's a team that's, again, got good quality. They have actually really good defined roles. It's just a matter of, can they take it up to the big teams, the absolute top 3? And again, they honestly dismantled Chiefs earlier back on play day 3. They had a couple of rounds that were pretty nice against Enterprise, but you could clearly see that gulf, that gap that was there. And they haven't played Ludvica yet. That's going to be reserved for tomorrow. So, for them in this game, if they really are to be contesting those top teams the way that they beat Chiefs, you win today, and then you've got a big game against Ludvica, and then that could really set the tone. Because if you win against, let's say they win today, and then they beat Ludvica tomorrow, well, you've beaten 2 of the top 3 teams. So that sets expectations then going into playoffs.
Yeah, no, for sure. Maybe there is a world where Man LFO can be a serious competitor for the top. Of course, their opponents are going to be a serious competitor for them. Outlast have been all over the shop, man. Like, they've had some insanely good games, obviously almost beating Chiefs in that 8-7 loss. And yet, on their first play day, they got demolished by Dream Warriors, who are the bottom team in the league. That's the only win that team has. And we heard there was a little bit of drama. Certain players on the Circular Spheres team wanted to kick others. Some wanted to keep others. I saw Goofed yesterday at the Logitech G Rivals events, and he was having a good night. That's all I'll say, Jake. He was out late. He'd had a few lemonades, and yeah, I don't know how he's going to shape up for a midday match today.
You could say a couple of solos, if you will. And then there's a variational style. No, I like this Outlast roster, and I think that I came into this stage when I looked at the roster and thought, yeah, I mean, this is a team that can be a nuisance. Maybe they could steal a game from one of the top 3 teams. Kind of maybe be a little bit like what Man LFO's been this stage. And then they go into the first play day and get absolutely bombed by Dream Warriors. And I'm like, okay, maybe not. And then the next play day, they go all the way to 15 rounds against Chiefs. And maybe in some way should have even won that game. So again, I think the funny thing is in this matchup, you've got 2 teams that clearly when they play to their best ability, there's really good qualities, and those really good qualities on any given day could maybe steal a game from the top 3 teams. It's a matter of consistency. And Goofed is obviously down this stage in comparison to last stage, but we know he's the kind of player that can go and drop 5 kills one game, and then he can go drop 25 the next. Like, he's just that good. They bring Neptune into the roster as well, technically part of the main roster. Trippin was listed as the sub for this stage, but has been part of the core roster. Of course, no Jay Kenner today. And Palarasi's continued his really good form really for the entire year. He had a really good stage 1, has continued that into stage 2. So again, it's a really good team on paper. Quixie's had a great stage 2. So this is a big game, I think, for these 2 teams to sort of just highlight, yeah, there's a top 3, but who's just that next team? Who's that 4th team? Is it Outlast or is it Man LFO?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think every now and then you'll get a team with a lot of individual players who can have pop-off moments, and there's a lot on this roster that I would say fill into that category. You know, Quixie, Goofed, Neptune, even Palarazzi on his good day, though he is more of a support, so you're less likely to see that. And, you know, between the fact that these guys are gunners and the fact that they're not going to get dejected just because they're playing up against the Chiefs or whatever, I think you're more likely to see those upsets, and we so close to saw it when these guys played Chiefs, and we're hoping that we can see it. I think Man LFO, these guys beating them wouldn't even be an upset. It would just be a solid result of these guys playing at their best. The problem is there's a bit of a waver between what happens when these guys are at their best and at their worst. You know, at their worst, they're losing the Dream Warriors. At their best, they're potentially beating Chiefs. So hopefully it's a good day for these guys. It's hard to say with, like you said, Jakenna's out, Neptune's in, I don't know, Trippin is apparently not a sub, and then we've got this little bit of an extra flavor here but happening behind the scenes, Jake. You know, coming into this broadcast, we heard from production, oh, you know, players are ready. We're about to get straight in. And now we've had a bit of a delay. And that is because Man LFO are actually struggling to get their 5 players into the server now. Unfortunately, one of their players keeps disconnecting. So we're likely going to be getting a substitute in for them. That is going to rock the foundations of Man LFO and really heavily favor Outlast for this game.
Yeah, I mean, just touching on what you've kind of mentioned there, I believe it is Mr. Beers himself, which is a very disappointing loss if that is the case. It seems like Faulty will be coming in. He's the substitute for Man LFO. Funnily enough, it was on the old Outlast roster, so he goes against his former organization, Ninehaven Labs, the map, if we can get there, if that is going to be the case. It does seem like, yeah, Faulty's going to be in the lobby setting up his moss, so that's going to be confirmed. Match will go ahead. It changes things a little bit. I actually can't recall who I did for the predictions on this, because we have the system now, James, where we kind of do it at the very, very, very beginning of the week. And I was like, as I was like filling out all the predictions, it was like, okay, playdate 3, 4. I was like, oh my God, we're doing like 3, 4 playdays, but it makes a lot of sense. I just can't now recall who I kind of actually selected in this game.
I reckon, I reckon I went Man.
I reckon Man as well. But now with the substitute change, so on the day prediction, with Beers out, I think and honestly with Neptune back, we know how good he can be, I might change it to Outlast.
Yeah. Oh, especially with this substitute. Let's see what you guys reckon on socials. Wow, there's no way. Did two people vote?
I was going to say, I reckon 2 people voted.
the social media managers for each team jumped on. Wow, that's insane. Apparently it's based on channel points in the Twitch chat. So you guys in the Twitch chat have actually went on this.
Gamble responsibly.
50-50. Yeah, do, especially when it's your channel points. Damn, I can't believe that. Look, I will say, of all of our games today, Jake, this is going to be the most likely, I think, to be an even one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that substitute shakes things up. But hopefully it does that little magic thing that sometimes happens to teams that have substitutes, where they just do not give a shit. And then they just play like there's nothing to lose. And that could help Man LFO, especially going up against a team as loosey-goosey and as fraggy as Outlast.
Can I just say, though, I mean, I don't know, like, obviously we got no information, but like, credit to Faulty for just being ready to go as a sub, quickly get in, get everything set up, and like on the fly for him to just be able to hop in is a really good look. I mean, if you're a sub on a team, that's your role, that's your job. You should be part of the core in terms of, you know, game day experience, ready to go, not just like I'm ducking out to the shops, you guys don't need me, you know, that kind of mentality. So shout out to Faulty for being ready to step in and fill out 4-man LFO. But as I said, with no beers in the roster, yeah, it's changed it a little bit.
To the
plus also Labs outlast defense first. I think it's put them in a good spot. I know that of course they're without Jay Kenner, but I think Neptune in for Jay Kenner is probably kind of similar level quality player anyway.
Yeah, this is the map that Outlast lost on Play Day 1 to Dream Warriors, so it's the only time they played it in the stage. Of course, I'm sure they've scrimmed it aplenty, but that's not info that we have. So something to keep in mind there. Also, of course, like we talked about, big roster shakeups between these two teams, between stages. So you know, Scars and Hunter, obviously former teammates of a lot of these guys on the Outlast side. A lot of rivalries, and you know, there's something to be said about when you play with someone for a long time, and you start to learn how they play the game. You start to learn their favorite positions or their favorite entry points on specific maps, their favorite camera placements on Valkyrie, things like that. So I think there will be a lot of reading into each other between the former teammates on these rosters that we won't necessarily be able to know because we don't have that information, we don't have that history like these guys do, but I think you'll be able to tell from the flavor of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you think about like Palarazi, shield op player, the way he likes to enter or how aggressive he can get in certain situations, you know, that's the sort of information. And, you know, it's funny, I was thinking, you know, Scars and Beers are brothers, you know, surely, you know, when they kind of got together this stage, I thought that would add a little bit more to this roster. So now the brothers are separated for this particular match. How's Scars going to go? Because he's actually had a rough stage. And prior to him and Beers combining, Scars was becoming a really, really solid player. Then Beers comes in and his brother just kind of overtakes him. But Drenskin, okay. Wrap it up.
No way.
I didn't realize Kyra was playing.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, Nitro Cell early on, so Drone Skin's not going to save him, that's for sure, for Man LFO. Not an easy attack to go into when you're dealing with the C4s vertically. You got the Valkyrie, and you got the Clash as well. Ludo's figuring out how to deal with that Clash, but there's not a lot to do about it. Well, the EMP will help, but he's not going to capitalize on the back of it. He's worried about a push from behind that Clash. Meanwhile, no one else from Man is looking to push in on the opportunity that EMP presented. Second EMP goes out. Oh no,
swing.
but the backup from Palarazi is perfect. Sharky, though, he snuck straight on into sight.
Kill there. He only gets one, then dies, but it keeps the Clash up. So it's a big power play, really good timing, understanding they're trying to use the EMPs to deal with this Clash, get the guard break. And it's right here, again, up close. He's ready to go. Big swing. Pluto's not ready for it. And even though the game is still live at that point, it's such a power play that you keep that Clash sharp, you're stalling out the attack. Big, big moment from Palarazi. And a really good start to the defense here on Labs as well. And you know, I think, again, when you're in these kind of battles, in these kind of matchups, you're starting on the superior side, get a good couple of rounds under the board. You know, Man LFO playing with a sub, and the sub's now gone. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it?
Oh, man. You know, coming into today, I was like, damn, only 3 games today. You look at the fixtures and you're like, oh, I reckon, you know, TSG is probably not going to last long. Maybe this game will be a quickie. And then, yeah, and then this happens and you're like, okay, we might be here for a little bit, shaky boy. Yeah, so I believe it's the Drone Skin we're going to have to rehost, make sure that player gets their Drone Skin taken away.
Well, since we got a little bit of time here, it's nice and early on this fine Saturday. Now, of course, we've got the main broadcast, but there are people that do like to do watch parties and watch alongs and give their thoughts. And someone that's been doing it this stage for OCE, want to give them a shout out. It's the former professional, now retired, and now professional broadcaster Wedables. So no longer a pro. He's now a watch party streamer. No longer good enough to play the game, but he's got his predictions, James. He's gone with Man LFO 7-2 over Outlast, so he's already about to be chopped liver. Chiefs versus Luda, he went 8-6, and EP TSG went 7-2. I think let's say the next 2 game results, I might be more in favor, but I don't know how you go 7-2 Man LFO.
Yeah, no, that's a very big call, but perhaps he didn't know about the substitute, and now the, you know, screw around with the drone skins come through. I think it might recontextualize that. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to see Wettables. He was already a bit of a streamer for his ranked games, but, you know, now that he's no longer playing for GG, he's got a little bit more time in his hands. If anyone is interested in going and watching him, it's Wettables. Wettables. Keep our stream open though, Jake, obviously. Well, like, I don't know, Wettables, like, I feel like, especially with our
Wet
accent,
tables?
a lot of people... Wet tables, as one word, that's it. The tables are wet. Go give him a follow and go give him a compliment. Tell him he looks handsome or something.
I remember when he came in and it was like either it was a confusion thing or I was just kind of making a bit of fun. I was like, it's the wet tables, you know, like trying to...
The tables have turned... I mean, the lines wrote themselves. It was too easy.
Yeah, no, but he's been good, and it's really good to have outside influence into the region from someone who obviously knows the game as well as he does. You know, so that's the Wettables glaze over, and we can move on into the second round.
We can table that for now.
Oh, that's good, James. That's good.
You're welcome. Wow, second round. We're getting deep into this one, Jake. 2 rounds in. Outlast up 1-0. It was a bit of a peter out from ManLFO. Really could not deal with that clash. Obviously, we didn't really talk about the operator bans, but yeah, ManLFO went just to get rid of the electrification operators ban at Qaid. Makes step 1, breaching the walls, a bit easier, but it doesn't deal with anything like a clash, any operators like a Warden or a Mirror or a Goya or a Smoke. These really powerful anchors, and it even leaves up a lot of info gathering, you know, your Valkyries, which we saw come into play last round, a couple of C4 kills. So, yeah, it's always a gamble. So many good operators. It's just crazy to think, Jake, that we used to only get like 1 attack ban and 1 defense ban per team. And now we get 2 for every half, and then a 3rd comes in, and it still feels like there are so many good operators left in.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ban them all. You can't ban. I think the problem is right now is the ban meta has really stabilized. You know, I love the ban system. I've always been all for it since it came in, and I think the system is great and the system is fine, but we are now starting to see, okay, it's the same operators constantly getting banned. Yeah, it's either double shield ban or double hard breach ban. And then on defense, you know, you see the Qaid Bandit as a combination quite heavily now as well. It's maybe a little bit more flex on some of the defensive operators, you know, map dependent, etc. But I would like to see a world in which, you know, that gets shaken up. But that just comes through, you know, balancing. And as things get kind of buffed and nerfed, then you'll start to see that actually shake up, but the system will at least still be there. Now, Shark is just going to make his way straight in towards basement. Barricade to run through. With the Vulcan canister on the other side. Gets him quite low. Spray through the wall. Nicely done from Hunter. Gets the opening kill onto Palarazi.
Yeah. With the Monty getting so lit up, really comes down to how the rest of the players on the team can help out. And unfortunately, Hunter is going to be caught pants down and taken out, so it's not a good look for ManLFO. Outlast pretty much stabilized. That said, ManLFO find their way back into it with a couple of picks, and now they've got, for the most part, players on the site. Wow, what a shot from Quixie onto Scars. Well, that's going to go down. It's a 2v3 in the post. Pluto still holds on. That DMR is so deadly. Quixie's going to have to come from up above the hatch, hoping that someone's going to back into him. Oh, faulty. Impact grenade goes out, but does not mask the ability of him to drop. Pluto low on HP. He's held on so well with that DMR. Hiding behind this cover. The E1D goes out. It does ping out Goofed. Let's see if he can find the clutch. Nah, Pluto's going to lock it on down. 3 kills from this position. And in the old chat, he's saying, Goofed hangover? I think he might be.
Done well there, Pluto, considering how low on health he was. So, you know, in that moment, it's very easy to just maybe try and tuck in, play behind the tank and play for your life. But he holds the left side angle, backs himself in, has to hit the shots. A fascinating round, but a really good round for ManLFO. Yeah, just backed himself in on that left side angle rather than staying tucked in, which if you do that, yeah, might be safe to the swing and you got to force them to push out, clear you, but you then have no information as well. Is he left side, right side? You're playing on sound cues. So really good positioning from Pluto. He goes to 3 kills. ManLFO take basement, which, yeah, it can happen on this map. This map itself, Labs, I think basement's the one that really does decide it more often. If you're attacking, can you take basement along with tertiary? and then you're going to go a long way to winning Nighthaven Labs. On defense, it's the same thing. If you're naturally going to win top floor. If you win basement as well, that goes a long way to securing a really good defensive half. So that's a big round for Man LFO.
Yeah, big round. Especially after the first one looked so slow for them. They had to deal with that clash and the Valkyrie, which they could not do. It's nice to come up with a rush, especially because, you know, in a way, Outlast actually looked good at the start of that rush. They found the first 2 picks, and the Monty was pretty much ineffectual. All it did was get in and clear a bunch of the Vulcan canisters. So yeah, good recovery there from Man. And with that, they just have a bit of a tight game. 1 round apiece, and we move onto the tertiary site here for Outlast. While the top floor is still locked, they're not going to go back to the basement. This round, I think, you know, if Outlast can come back and win it on the tertiary, says a lot for their confidence on Nighthaven, especially after, of course, knowing that they lost this on Play Day 1 to Dream Warriors. We need to show that they have a bit of depth in their site rotation.
Again, a lot of confidence off winning that round as well for Man LFO. Pluto goes on to the Deimos so he can get aggressive this round. Hunter playing the patience, waiting for a cross back. I think both of these two teams at full strength, you would consider pretty equal. Pluto actually loses his life to Goofed. And early signs that Goofed might be on here. He's 3-1. When he starts well, he usually ends well. Straight into storage, though, for Sharky. Now, is anyone actually watching this? They have to be. Scars finds the kill onto Drippin. Well, with Plant down inside storage and playing the Vault outside, this becomes very difficult and a nuisance for Outlast.
Damn. Another kill, though, for Goofed. 4-1. Valorati's going to fall to outside the building. I cannot believe that Man LFO got away with the plan, but they might not get away with the post if Neptune can clutch up. It's just a 1v2. Spots out Hunter for a brief moment. Where is Scars? I think he's just outside waiting. Oh, he's got the vert. This is so over. No way that you can play against that Neptune. Scars as he dead to rights. Again, I'm in disbelief that Man LFO were able to get away with the plant with so much going on for Outlast.
I do wonder, without being overly critical, I'm not Pengu. It goes without saying, James. I don't quite have, you know, a couple of hammers under my belt and all of that, but the pressure towards IT was quite further back towards the stairs. So I wonder can the clash push up a little bit more to block that, giving you then the line of sight down below, open up the vert inside IT for Goof to then be able to deny the plant. Because they're so far back, essentially they were playing rafters. You then don't have that vert. So Sharky's understanding that. Good team comms, I imagine, that, hey, they don't really have IT control. We can slip into storage, get the plant down, and then get out. And at that point, you actually have to really hold still IT, and they don't even really do that properly. So Man LFO executed that really nicely based on the information that was presented to them by Outlast in the way they were positioning and playing. Now, if you don't have that IT vert, you really need to have the horizontal vert. You need to be up close, nitrocells, being able to swing very quickly, deny plant. That's the main win con for the defense in that kind of round on the tertiary, is just deny that plant. Even if it's walk in, die, but you kill the planter, especially in that case, the Montang, that will go a long way to salvaging that round. As soon as the plant goes down, most of the time, the round's going the way of the attacker.
5 seconds to go.
100%. Far less retakeable than other bomb sites on this map, that's for sure. And goes to show how much information is critical. Outlast spread themselves very thin. They didn't have a Valkyrie or any form of info. They didn't have a Solars, didn't have a Pulse. And they were really focusing up on backing up that clash to win fights upstairs, which has now been banned, by the way, which I think is a good move for Man, especially for attacking this top floor. It was just abysmal. There was no way that Man could deal with both the Valkyrie and the Clash last time on this top floor. Clash is now banned out. Valkyrie not picked this time. Instead of looking for some vertical C4s, much more anchor-centric setup. Between the Warden, the Smoke, the Azami, and the Mirror, these are all critical anchor operators, make it very difficult for Man LFO to make headway on that site. The Ella as well, it's nice to see so much play on the Ella these days. I mean, Pengu told me last stage, before the new season, before the Scorpion got a buff, he reckoned it actually got a shadow buff already, and then obviously got added to Denari, and the devs have made it a little bit more playable as well. Now we're seeing so much Ella.
Yeah, I mean, the Griswold mines as well. You'll see players will keep 1 or 2 in the pocket once they get really good information as to where the push is coming from. It's a good disruption gadget. Interesting. I mean, 4 shields banned, by the way. I mean, something has to be done about this. Like, it's getting to the point where I'm just sick of seeing it. But it's hopefully going to be a balancing thing later on. More needs to be done to shields. King to get the opening pick. Despite the opening round for Outlast, they haven't really been... I guess it's strong elsewhere on the map besides this top floor, which is an indicator to it. Man, LFO certainly got the better of this right now. And they might not win this round. Command server is very difficult to attack into. But the 2 attacking rounds on the board already. 2 more rounds after this one. They've set themselves up really, really nicely in this half. Trying to play patience here to see if Outlast do overstep, over peak. Pluto on the roam for the Deimos. Palarazi will hold over towards blue. Still has 1 gas babe left. So Outlast got this pretty locked down.
Yeah. Bit of a cart before the horse moment there for LFO with the buck going down below trying to get vert, but not having enough lateral pressure from the rest of LFO to win the fights against these defenders who are now just not pressured vertically so they can win every fight laterally. That's the problem here for Man. Outlast have read it well, and they have retaken every inch of Nighthaven Labs. That's a very dominant round. 2 times dominant for the defense on that top floor as Outlast start to settle in.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, again, it's a free punch of a round for Man LFO. They don't really need to be winning command server to take this map. But to lose it that comfortably is never ideal. You really want to put the pressure on the defense. And yeah, 2-2 scoreline. Siege is a funny old game when you explain to people that, yeah, the game's even right now. But in theory, I'd say Man LFO are technically winning this game. They've kind of already done a little bit more, being on the attack of this map, taking out the 2 sites not being top floor, 2 rounds to go. So now they can add to their advantage. I'm assuming we're getting a rehost.
Yeah, I did hear the little sound during that round at one point, which often plays when a player disconnects from the server. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Perhaps it was one of our observers or admins disconnected. But yeah, we'll get back into it. 72% defensive win rate on command server. So more often than not, if 1 out of 3 times you might win it, but that's 2 out of 3 times you're going to lose it. So you're never really going in and expecting to win that site. As I said, free punch. It's not as if it's 100% defensive win rate, but if you're going to find attacking rounds, it's more likely to come tertiary site, storage and control, which is 45% attacker win rate, and it has statistically one of the higher plant percentages as well, close to 50%, which is massive when it comes to overall plant percentage. When you take into account the average across all maps is like 25%, James. It's double the average across all maps on that site. So yeah, rehost. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we'll continue things.
You know how they say it's not the destination, it's the journey?
And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And you know what?
They're right.
as I was saying, we have to look at what's ahead of us now and not worry too much about
Wait,
the
did you
past.
see that?
What?
Wait, what is this doing here?
Whoa, what the hell is going on?
Guys, we need to go.
Jess, what are you doing here?
We need to go now.
Jess, Doc is gone. We have to go back.
There's no time. There's really no time.
Can't take this anymore. I'm tired.
He's our head coach. I have to go save him.
You're already dead.
There's no escaping now.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's about to kick some serious ass? Remember, I'll be watching. Now you see me, now you don't.
Get ready. I'm taking them out.
Changing mags. I got this. Got my eyes on you. Located enemy. You know how they say it's not the destination, it's the journey?
And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And you know what?
They're right.
as I was saying, we have to look at what's ahead of us now and not worry too much about
Wait,
the
did you
past.
see that?
What?
Wait, what is this doing here?
Whoa, what the hell is going on?
Attackers need to locate and defuse as
We're back into it. That's right, everyone. We are so close to having to forfeit Man LFO, but thankfully we got everyone back in, and Jake, we're ready to resume where we left off, which is even between these two teams. And you were saying before we threw to a break that Man LFO, despite being 2-2 at the moment, you actually feel like they're looking better than Outlast because they've had some pretty critical attack wins on what can be a defensive favored map.
Yeah, and they're doing that as well without winning every single metric. So 3 of the 4 rounds that we played, the opening kills went the way of the defense. So you're kind of doing quite well to be able to steal one of those rounds, especially that 3rd round. You know, Goof gets an opening kill, but then you sneak in, get the plant down in storage, win the round. Scars with a 3K in that round. We do still have the numbers ourselves internally. Goof 6-2, Neptune 6-2. So doing well on defense in terms of kills, but again, allowing Man LFO to really get that tertiary site is the difference right now. You know, if it was 1-3 in favor of Outlast, they'd be kind of going along nicely. So that 1 round is the determining factor. So Outlast kind of now need to win the remaining 2. They have to really win basement, then tertiary, which is control storage. If they do that, they get to 2-4. Yeah, I mean, it kind of puts the game back in an even position, I think, then going into the second half. So big 2 rounds coming up. Can Man LFO get at least 1 more attacking round? That would put a lot of pressure on Outlast.
Love that. Bit of Bravo work as well. Straight into sight from Hunter. Amazing that he's managed to get his drone so deep and not spotted. Oh, that's so bloody frustrating here for the defense with those evil eyes getting hacked and not able to destroy them, not even able to shoot them or punch them. Neptune is going to find the opening pick. And no more Dokkaebi to worry about, but I think that this gap that Man LFO may be able to find on site using those evil eyes make things pretty challenging for Outlast.
Yeah, I mean, not an ideal 1-for-1. Oh, nice pick there. Goof will get another one. So he goes to 7 kills, traded though by Pluto. A little bit back and forth to start this 5th round, opens things up, but I still don't mind this for Man LFO after getting that kill onto Goof. In saying that again, King lost his shell, so he was pretty much useless from that point on in terms of utility and gadgetry. Neptune's going to be a big factor over towards Blue lurking on the Vigil.
Yeah, they're going to be able to find it without the Dokkaebi calls while they're focusing on the site, while they're just trying to play cutoff. It's a bit of a game of when will he look to flank? And will LFO still be watching their backs when they do? Oh, Trippin is lucky to be alive. 2 players from the attack approaching the site. Neptune starts to make his way down the other staircases. So he's back on site, got a crossfire, but probably would have been a bit more useful on that flank.
Oh, no.
Sharky's forcing that plant down. Pluto again misses an opportunity to find the kill. Out comes the pistol. Oh, the vert is perfect for Neptune. And that's going to deny the plant. Even if Pluto can find a couple more on site, it's going to be almost impossible to get that plant down while Neptune is above and there's still info on site. Now, BPC gets taken out. Are they going to be able to push for these final kills?
Yeah, I'm not too sure if they realized Neptune was still above at that point of going for the default plant. Pluto now just has to stick it inside a tank. Hunter has to watch, provide the cover.
Oh,
but that is going to be a denial.
Man.
That's going to be the round. And 3-2 up go Outlast Gaming out of the extended break.
Yeah. First game back into it. Neptune with a 4K on the Vigil. Finds some on the roam. Comes back to site. Denies the plant twice. Impeccable stuff from him. Love to see it. And that's the caliber of a player who is a bit of a veteran in the scene. I mean, I remember back when before I started casting, I remember seeing Neptune at the time. His name was iDark Neptune. Just seeing him in ranked all the time. And then eventually made his way into the pro scene. He's been on so many different teams over the years, but never at a top level. And here he is playing for Outlast. Big clutch like that. Big plays from him, keeping his team ahead of the curve. Man LFO now, I think starting to recontextualize the game so far. I personally am wondering, are they going to be able to come back after losing basement? And I'm thinking about the rounds that they did win, right, Jake? You know, there was the basement rush, and there was the sneak onto site on this tertiary bomb site in storage where they found the plant and then won it in post. It does feel like the rounds that they have won have been cheeky, not necessarily something to replicate. I feel like Outlast, the rounds that they have won, have looked more or less dominant. So it does hinge a lot on this round upcoming. On this tertiary bomb site again, ManLFO, like I said, they've won it before, but it was on the back of Outlast not knowing the plant was going down. And this time, they've got a lot more information. They got that Valkyrie. They've likely prepared a little bit more for if a rush comes out. They've got nitro cells in abundance. They've got some plant denial with the smoke as well. It's going to be much harder for ManLFO to win this round.
Yeah, still a big round, though. I mean, regardless of the previous one, if ManLFO do win this, they get 3 attack rounds in the half. Sets them up nicely. Again, in terms of, like, what's on the line for these two teams, I mean, for both of them...
Oh, what is going on?
Oh, nicely done from Pluto.
Yeah, he's straight on into the side.
No one's locked into playoffs yet. You win this, you will be as well. And certainly with a higher seeding, Pluto does end up losing his life, so 1-for-1 again. Similarities to the previous round. Nitro.
This info.
Good info. Good impact. And Trippin will shut down Sharky.
There was definitely a gap there for Pluto, finding Quixie on site. But like I said about the Valkyrie, ManLFO being red, it allows Outlast to restabilize. And of course, having a player die early means that they can just sit on those Valkyrie cams. It's very hard to get away with a plant even when you have sight on this particular bomb site because of the ways that you can deny it from above and below. The only way you do it is if the defense doesn't know about it, and that's not going to happen with these Valk cams. Now a 3v4. Spotted for a brief second on that top floor on the rafters. Hunter, though, doesn't find his mark. Oh, another chance goes begging. Goofed. Needs to be careful. I don't know if this is going to work out for ManLFO. They're just teetering around the edges of sight, but the retakeability of this bomb site with the Valkyrie cameras is immense, and now Goofed has found another shot onto Faulty outside the breach. Yeah, it's so over. He can get traded back, but Hunter in a 1v3, it should be a 4-2 split for Outlast.
Yeah. Yeah, and good response as well, because ManLFO were looking really threatening early on in the, I guess, pre-break half. And since we had that sort of technical break in the action, it feels like Outlast have really come out a little bit more sharper. Neptune 6-0 since that moment, and he was performing even prior to that. Nice kill from Hunter, keeps the round alive. He'll get the kit, 25 seconds, never mind, was never going to be able to get it. Tribune was watching it closely the entire way through. 2-4 half confirmed. Par for the course, and we head into the second half when we probably should be getting ready to get into the second map.
Yeah. Look, it has been a long and drawn-out first half due to all those delays, and that does kind of break the momentum a little bit, but the only momentum that's formed now, Jake, is the fact that since we came back from that extended break, Outlast have won 2 rounds. They also won the round before that. It's been half an hour since ManLFO last won a round. So even though that was only 3 rounds ago, it feels like it's been an age. And now they move on to their defense. Yes, they're going to have a bit more of a comfortable start on that defensive side. And as we dig into the bans, so we talked about a couple of different ways people are banning these days. It looks like it's going to be all about the hard breach. Bandit and Thermite. Is it going to be the double down with the Qaid? I think it might just be. That's what we saw in the first half. Is it going to be double hard breach? We're going to get rid of one of the shields. Double hard breach and then double electrification. That is that is a way to do it. All the shields are in. All the power-ups on the attack and the defense are in. There's purely just a hard breach ban phase.
Yeah, and it's interesting considering Palarazzi, we know, is a quite exquisite shield operator player, and they kind of leave that available for him now to have his own selection of choices. He kind of gets to freely pick. Now, maybe there's always that kind of counter mindset where it's like, well, he's going to play shields anyway. We can only ban 2 for the first 3 rounds. He's just going to then fill on the 3rd one available. But he gets to now choose. He goes to the Blackbeard, unless there's an attacker repick. But it means site dependency. He might like Blackbeard here, then on another side he might like the Montang, and then on the other side he might like the Blitz, and he can play all 3 of them. So that leaves that vulnerable now for ManLFO by opting to instead, you know, ban out the hard breach. We see the Denari is going to get selected by Scars.
Oh yeah.
12-3, by the way, now for Neptune. So a big kind of debut for him this stage because he hasn't been playing. I don't know exactly the reasons why, but he hasn't been playing despite being listed as part of the core roster. But a huge game from him.
Yep. Yeah, 6-1 since the rehost is pretty insane as well. Goofed, 8-4. We talked a lot about how he may be a little bit hungover after big night at the Logitech G Rivals last night. So nice to see that he's come into it, especially because he was getting a little bit of smack from ManLFO early when he lost out a clutch. So nice to see that him and Neptune together are carrying Outlast. The rest of the team, not so great stats though, none of them positive. Not very well rounded. Bit of a lurk from Quixie and tripping together downstairs. This is very uncommon, all the way from the basement. 2 players, and you look at the operator and you're like, why is a sledge going down below? Why is the Finker with him? This is a very strange cook here from Outlast.
Yeah, but I like it because it's something different. Yeah, I think this is a site now that teams go one of 2 ways, either IT Rafters kind of control or con meeting side push. We've seen a lot of teams now not really elect for blue.
Oh, he's shoddy.
Not only is he shoddy, but they get to sneak up blue stairs rather than coming through the barricade. Now, there's barbed wire here for a reason, but you will get that close fight. Needed to hit that shotgun shot, though. At least 1-for-1 trade, and you get rid of the smoke and you open up blue stairs, and more importantly, you get the revive on the king. Now, you do lose Goofed, so you've lost those Kendalas, a little bit less entry available in terms of gadgets, but Hunter's gone for the retake below, and he will get the kill onto King, who was low on health from being picked back up, and it's going to be a double.
Yeah, look, after that push up blue stairs, I thought that maybe Outlast would be looking solid. The Finker boost actually saved Quixie's life. The Hunter, yeah, on the Cav of all operators. This is a very strange round. Very unusual to see Cav at this level of play. The defense, though, it's got a bit of a fortress on site with the Denari, with the Warden.
This is their only push, though, James.
Behind that Blackbeard. It may work out, though. I wouldn't be surprised. Pick here or there will change the context, but not going to be the case. Scars farms up with the Scorpion for 2 kills, and yeah, it's all up to Neptune. But damn, he's good today. On fire in the 1v4, down to a 1v2.
Winnable. And he gets the 1v1 against Hunter. Sharky couldn't get involved straight away. He's already made the cross, though, so he's on the left side. Neptune very low on health, 20 seconds. I mean, they're saying beta activities, but it's not. I mean, you triple stack blue.
It's working, bro. Oh, have you heard
just has to play time. He just got to play time here. There's nothing else that you can do. Sharky knows he has to stick. Has he heard it? He has. And now he's going to make the run across. Doesn't know where he's planted. Dude! And Neptune ends up
Where are you looking?
He had no idea where that was planted. He thought it would be bomb chassis.
I'm speechless.
What a round of Neptune.
He's unbelievable. That's 4K? I mean, we're going to have to watch that back because Neptune is on fire today. He's only died 3 times, and I think he's just cracked 16 kills. And it was looking all terrible.
It was a 1v4. It was a 1v4.
And there's the first 2.
This is the thing, right? That should not really be allowed to happen. Why does it happen? Because you're peeking him in the hallway. Like, if he has to force his way out of that position into the site, footholds to deal with, and more importantly, you're coming through a choke point. If everyone is just a bit more patient and a bit more diligent on the defense, you just sit back, wait for him to push forward, but it's just swing after swing after swing. So you're just giving lives away. And then it's a 1v2. Then he gets a nice swing onto Hunter. Not much he can do, playing the Cav. But more importantly, he actually forced the 1v1. Sharky couldn't really get involved, so then he's forced into the other side of site. He has to play time and sound cue. And I don't know if... he knows he heard the plant, because you could see him running around. But he had no idea where it was actually being planted. That's the thing.
Yeah. 2 rounds we've seen go by where the defense has lost it because of inadequate information. Look, there's 100 different things that ManLFO could have done to play that better and win that round. But yeah, it doesn't get much worse than that. Yeah. Or even just swing off of in the 2v1, right? Because that's kind of restabilized at a 2v1. You need to have Sharky swing on the contact with the player that's trapped inside.
Well, he
'Cause
tried to.
that Cav, completely trapped.
He tried to, but it was an angle, and credit to Neptune with his positioning. He pushed a little bit more
Played
to
it
the
so
right
well.
and full swung that left side rather than kind of pushing up to the front. I mean, 5-2 now. There's the early attacking round for Outlast. And more importantly, you take top site. Like, that's the big one.
Yeah. How the hell do you come back from getting 1v4'd? I don't know. But it's certainly given a rejuvenation of confidence here to Outlast. And while
That's
Goof finds
timing.
one, is traded back. Yeah, the timing is good here, but ManLFO dropped Pluto as well. Not sure where the Blitz found that. Nitro comes over. Really, just it's up to Faulty to get out of dodge. He has to escape. Bomb site's a long way away. They don't need to over-contest here. Quixie is hunting him down. Solo on that Blitz. Needs to be cautious, though, because you lose the Blitz now, and you forfeit the advantage Outlast have garnered early in the round.
Yeah, interesting. Quixie on the Blitz rather than Palarazi. But yeah, it was
Back
that
in the day,
timing.
I've seen him on the Blitz
if
before. He's a bit
Faulty,
of a fan.
if Faulty had have been able to, and he didn't do anything wrong, it's just siege timing, but if he did get in there 2 seconds earlier, he would have got that kill onto Goof without Goof finding a kill. So it's tiny little things that kind of going against the ManLFO now. This is good pressure, and it really almost could have been a kill. That was close from Quixie. Again, the timing of it, if he's just that like half a step quicker, he probably could get the flash kill.
It's a warden,
Hunter,
though, so I think
well,
that's why he didn't go
if
for the
Hunter's
flash.
glasses weren't activated at the time, yeah, but 30 seconds. I mean, I was going to say, well, at least ManLFO kind of got themselves back to sight and get into positions, and then Palarazi just goes and finds the kill. Now this is really vulnerable.
Feels like this game may just be over, especially with Sharky losing that fight. He is having an absolute shocker of a game. 0-4, and the backstab here from the Dokkaebi to find the Warden. It is so over here for ManLFO. 6-2. And that's 5 rounds in a row for Outlast.
Poor old Beers. In our stats, he's been listed that he's playing, which we know he's not. It's I would imagine taking faulty stats. It now says Beers is 1-7, so hopefully that doesn't
deserve this.
Hopefully that doesn't get added into the internal sheets, because he was like 6th-rated player coming into this game today. Obviously not playing, but he's at a really good stage. But yeah, this has suddenly got rough out of nowhere. You kind of think about the first couple of rounds of this game, James, and some really good attacks from ManLFO on this map. When they won that tertiary site control storage, they went 2-1 up, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I mean, this is pretty good considering you're playing with a sub. Executed nicely, felt like they had a good control on the game, and then out of sight, out of mind, 5 in a row now for Outlast Gaming. And Neptune coming into this, and probably why, as I said at the top of this game, if I was, I can't remember what I predicted a week ago, but like what I would have thought today is Neptune comes in, he's a really good player. Beers goes out, he's a really good player. That changes it. And evidently, as we've now seen it, up 6-2, that has been the difference, quite literally. 16-3 for Neptune, and without Beers for ManLFO, they just don't have the firepower to match it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just think there's also a bit of a tilt factor here, settling in after losing some horrendous rounds, particularly that 4v1. Yeah, you saw it in that last round. ManLFO indecisive, uncertain, and lacking confidence. Sharky in particular.
This might be the best game of the stage from a player for OCE. It genuinely might be the best. 216 EPS, 16-3, but 1-0 on entry, 100% cost, a 2 KPR, 63% survival rate, 1 clutch, 1 plant, and a 1v4. Like, I don't think you could find a better game this stage from a player. And maybe even
I don't think I've casted a match where a player has popped off this much, so dominantly in this stage. Maybe even this year. Sometimes we see big 20-bomb games, but often those 20-bomb players are still dying a few times. They're not hard carrying the team. But yeah, I mean, Neptune, without him, that round that he 1v4'd was obviously gone. And yeah, probably a lot of these other ones as well. 16-3, like you said, is actually unreal. Like, that is insane. Cost 100%, by the way. 100%.
It's turned into a bit of a demolition job now, and it's just a matter of, do Outlast close this out 7-2, or can ManLFO have a little bit of a fight back? If you win this at 6-3, you go top floor. Maybe that's then 6-4. Things get a little bit spicy. So by no means is any game ever, you know, done. Especially when you're on defense labs. You've just got to be able to lock in one round at a time. Hunter on the clash, so they can maybe stall out. The only nitro and the only nitro that LFO had expended is tripwire connectors from the Denaria Scars. We haven't really seen them have impact so far in this half.
I'm yet to see any rounds where the Denaria is like instrumental in having an impact. Nice to see it. I think it'll get better.
It's like a mobile
People will figure it
Aruni,
out.
right? Like it's meant to be kind of like it's not meant to find kills.
Yeah. Ooh, here we go. Flashbang goes over with the air jab, but they burnt the air jab now. No way to capitalize upon it. The Clash is going to fall back. Another air jab to go out, but Pluto finds a pick. The flashbang follows through as well, but Man LFO have fallen back. Goofed at least finds another pick. He is continuing his hot form here on the breach with the Maverick, can continue opening things up. It's up to Quixie to hold on, prevent that aggression from the Clash. Still is the X factor here for Man LFO.
$45 seconds. Still got to deal with this Clash. That's going to be the nuisance. Of course, with the mobility additions now, can kind of just navigate this site really quickly, really easily. Here's one of those tripwires that Neptune has kind of walked through. So low on time. They do get the Clash though. Trade. Quixie will fall. Faulty though with the SMG-11 will shut down Goof. It feels like it's all up to Neptune again.
Yeah. Never count him out. Big pick though from Palarazzi, and here it is from Neptune. Again, it flips on his head, Jake. Sharky once again has to clutch up. He whiffs a few shots, but does get the injure onto Nep. It's all up to Palarazzi, but he pre-fires him! Sharky, you just gotta shoot him! And that's GG for Outlasts!
Well, I mean, throughout all of this game, the funny thing is, I think we're only like 8 minutes behind schedule, James, because it ended up being a 7-2, and I didn't really see it coming to this kind of scoreline at the very beginning of the game. Man LFO only found 2 rounds. They were 2-1 up, and then that was it. That was it. What's the old saying? They only get 2. Well, they did only get 2, and look, commend Outlast and Neptune for the way that they kind of played and responded to that early start from Man LFO. That was a really solid game, and sets Outlast up very nicely on their road towards playoffs with this win. I'm pretty sure that's going to be them making playoffs.
Yeah, no, I'd be very surprised if they don't. Outlast certainly have been on a redemption arc since losing their first game. Man LFO, absolute shocker of a match for them. But of course, next up, it's the battle for second place. Chiefs and Ludvica up next.
You know how they say it's not the destination, it's the journey?
And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And you know what?
They're right.
안녕하세요. 전 민구란이고요. 엔터프라이즈 레인보우 식스 팀의 감독을 맡고 있습니다. 오늘은 저의 커리어 클립을 되돌아보는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. that moment we like losing moment like 5-6 Furia Boda. Bapan get a 4 kill on CCTV. That was for me really shock moment. So I have to reaction really overreact stuff for make good energy. So I just talking some bad word in Portuguese, and then I just talk about boa caralho for make good vibe, and then just like LMG dancing like that. And then Jackson and Chris just smiling for after that round. But after this round we just lose, but our energy is just back to overtime. But I always watching another regions game day. Brazil always land event, so I watching that every Brazilian yelling to another team coach. I'm just trying to same thing for Furia. They just yelling to us like JV922 or Huz like you're so shit or something shit. And then I just talk about same thing to that guys. If you guys can watching my Twitter, everyone just laughing. What the fuck that Korean doing now? To be honest, before Rainbow Six I'm so shy guy, but after join Bliss and then join this region, I changed my mindset. I have to bring big energy, like when I'm playing baseball, just bring high energy and then make good team culture. We get a really good result. I believe that my mindset, so I just bring every time high energy for game day. After the game day, look like that guy, just zero energy. But yeah, on game day, like 110% energy. We playing with a lot of international team like FaZe, G2, but I think not big different like skill, but we don't have experience at the time, so we can improve like after Munich Major or SI Paris. If we get a more experience, we can improve more, and then for future we can beat that team again. Yeah, cause I can speak Chinese and then Japanese, Korean, so I will talking shit to another APL team on LAN. 스테이지 2로 다시 돌아옵니다. 저희는 더 강해져서 돌아옵니다.
Welcome back, everybody. It was a bit of a delayed first game, Jake, but thankfully Neptune expedited the process for us a little bit.
Yeah, he certainly did. He played absolutely as perfect of a game as you can possibly play. I mean, he was the difference maker. He was the deciding factor in that match. And obviously, it's rough for Man LFO not having Beers. You know, I'm sure that they would probably say on a different day and bring Beers into the lineup, they could certainly beat Outlast, and I wouldn't disagree with that at all. But today was the day in which they didn't have Beers and Neptune popped off. So big win for Outlast, and as I said, should really go a long way to confirming playoffs. I don't know if they're like statistically locked in. They still got a game tomorrow where actually I think they play Enterprise. So I mean, like, the likelihood of them beating EP is probably low. So they go to whatever points they're on. I think technically it's actually, I think it's 9 points if you include that bye win. So that should be enough to get them into playoffs. And, you know, with Neptune, if he stays in the lineup, this was the first that we've seen of him, so I don't know if it was a one-off showing or he's back. If he is back and he's playing like that, then Outlast could certainly be a threat and make some noise in playoffs.
I'd be very surprised if he replicates that performance, but he's still a solid player, and I'm sure that he will be, you know, an above average and a great addition for the team if he sticks with it. Of course, next up, this is the game that I've been most excited for. It's like on paper just the best game of the day, one of the best of the group stage. Arguably, it's Chiefs versus Ludvica, the battle for second place, and it's been a bit more of an interesting stage than stage one in terms of a few more upsets. Like EP in stage one just beat everyone. They beat Ludvica, but of course Chiefs got an upset over Enterprise. So it changes things a little bit. Now we're wondering, you know, who is the better of Ludvica and Chiefs? It's also a revenge opportunity for the Chiefs because Ludvica knocked them out of the playoffs and, of course, EWC contention in stage one. So this is the Chiefs and quite a shuffle after stage one, and everyone was so excited for it. I in particular was so keen to see Brendo and Sage back playing together on the same team and playing with Oda and Jigsaw. Of course, the old Bliss core is really continued here in the Chiefs, but they're still not flawless, right? They're not perfect. They have had their fair share of cracks.
I mean, it was more the start to the stage, I think, that you're referring to, and 100% that was the case. And there were also the symptoms, I think, where, you know, Jigsaw was popping off and then they still didn't quite get the result that they would have liked. And, you know, that's a little bit of stage one then maybe creeping back into this team. But I think they've consolidated quite nicely now with that win against Enterprise. You know, getting the opportunity to actually speak with Oda and kind of get some insight into the team and sort of how they're tracking along. For them, it was really just the motivation thing and finding that energy outside of the server. They were kind of just, you know, trucking along. And I don't really think that's a bad thing at the end of the day. It's group stage, so it's a little bit harder to probably hype yourself up. And I think that's why that result against Enterprise happened, is because they actually put emphasis on that game. They wanted to beat these guys who had kind of taken their mantle that a lot of these players on this roster have held for so long, and I think that makes it personal, and that then easy to psych yourself up for that game. In terms of the actual fundamentals of this roster, I mean, it's a really well put together team. Jigsaw, Quiz, Brendo being able to be the main fraggers, and then Oda and Sage can play more of the supportive roles where you don't have to really rely on them to actually go out and get kills. Despite that, Sage has actually been able to perform really, really nicely, and in that EP game actually kind of turned himself into his brother in Brendo and was one of the top fraggers. So he was outstanding and has been you know, a welcome addition back into this region.
Yeah, no, great to see Sage back playing again, of course, after having a stint as coach or assistant coach or whatever he ended up calling himself when he was with the Gaming Gladiators. But yeah, super keen to see what Chiefs is capable of. Of course, I think the hope for me, the hope for a lot of people is that perhaps Chiefs can actually not just rival Enterprise, but be another potential OCE team to go overseas and actually make an impact over there, just like Bliss did way back in the day. This is Enterprise, but that's not, well, it says Enterprise. This is actually Ludvica, who is actually playing. Ludvica are a funny, they sit in a funny spot right now, Jake, where stage one, they, I think, far exceeded expectations. And they looked like a much more well put together team than I had expected. You've got some talented up-and-comers like Karma and Lunchbox, you know, your fragging capability. You got Physics, who's been around for a long time playing for the old Circular Spheres team. And then you got Milo, who, you know, played for old Wildcard and a few other teams and then retired, and now he's come back into it. You've got Cairo, who was dropped from the Chiefs and is now playing against his former team. It's a team that has ended up in the results performing better than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that last stage was clearly the sort of stage where there was a lot of turbulence within OCE, and they certainly benefited from that with the way that, you know, GG and Chiefs kind of had their stages turn out, and so they kind of then slotted into that second seed and eventually made the grand final. We head to Lair for this game, which is going to be interesting, but in terms of this stage now, with the reformation of this Chiefs roster and Enterprise still looking really, really strong, it's like, where does Ludvica really sit? It's hard to gauge that. And maybe this is the game that will give us a little bit more insight into where they really sit. Is it still in that top two? Are they still better than Chiefs? and around the mark, because Chiefs beat Enterprise and Ludvica have struggled in that department. The Ludvica Enterprise matchup has been quite one-sided in those two teams' history across stage 1 and even now into stage 2. So Ludvica, if they're going to get another crack at a team like Enterprise, 95 to 5.
Wow. What
that's
the hell?
That's the Chiefs' social engineering doing its work. It's certainly not a 95 to 5% matchup in the server, but at the end of the day, I think that Ludvica is good enough that they can beat Chiefs. But if Chiefs come into this game as amped up and as ready to go as they were for that EP game, they will be very difficult to stop.
Yeah, wow, that 95-5 definitely is not an accurate reflection of how close this game could well be, Jake. Chiefs, of course, have the backing. They've got the new revitalized roster, and it's a revenge game for them as well. But it's also a bit of a game for Cairo, you know, playing against the team that dropped him less than a year ago, that he went to Montreal with just under a year ago. And now Chiefs are back, and they're hungry for a whole lot more than second place, but that's where this battle fights for at the moment. There's a world, perhaps, where Chiefs could actually end up at the top of the standings. You know, win over Enterprise, a win over Ludvica here. They have dropped points elsewhere. You know, to Outlast, they dropped points to Man LFO. Speaking of those teams, by the way, that's actually who Ludvica played in their previous playday on Lair. It was Outlast. Both of these teams played their previous match on Lair. And for me, the thing that stands out, just looking back over the stats from those games, is that Ludvica have really struggled on the attacking side. They only won 1 out of their 6 attacks when they played when they played Enterprise on Lair. And when they played against Outlast, they only won 2 out of 5. So I think for Ludvica, focus here at the start of this game is really lock in on your defensive half. You need as many rounds out of this one as possible. I don't think a 3-3 split is going to be enough here for Ludvica to win it come the second half. So focus up, lock in a 4-2 split on this defense, and then focus on the much more challenging half, which will be their attack.
Yeah, and again, to preface, and I kind of think I said this as well in the Chiefs Enterprise game, you know, they're big matches for what they are, but it's not the be-end all. Yeah, it's a big couple of weeks coming up when you take into account the big playoffs week, then into the major qualifier land for the 2 host teams that get to, you know, make that event and try to qualify for the Munich Major. So you're not really going to pull out all the stops in a game like this, but Jigsaw's just going to walk straight into Master, opening kill onto Molosca. Well, that's the early aggression, and that's what Jigsaw's capable of when he's kind of left to his own devices and quits to find the kill onto Box. There is the trade, though, but coming quickly behind is Brendo to now take his position towards main stairs.
This is classic Jigsaw, and Chiefs are pouncing on the opportunity.
Push.
The push-up from Cairo is a great read,
easy
and it
read.
does bring things back. And Karma's also found his. So the round is flipped. Oda has to clutch a 1v3 after what should have been a cut-and-dried Chiefs round.
It's an easy read. It's a nade to push you back so I can go for the res. It's a very easy read. Well read by Cairo, and leaves Oda in the 1v3, and Ludvica have just completely flipped this round. Now, maybe as they somewhat should, Master and R6 on Lair, again, one of the more difficult sites to actually attack into, but Jigsaw had opened up the pathway, and Cairo is going to get the free kill playing behind the Scopos. Yeah, really good turn to the end of the round there for Ludvica. Cairo with a little bit of a teabag.
Good rush, guys. Yeah, I got to say, Cairo tends to fire up in revenge games. He's a very mental, very momentum-based player, very emotional player. And yeah, he knows how to read situations like this. You say it's an easy read, I think you're right, but it still takes balls to do it and go for it, especially after Chiefs snuck in there with the first pick. I'm not sure how Karma got that refrag onto Jigsaw, but amazing first step from Chiefs there. I think that it was a bit unnecessary to push 2 players up from the stairs. I think you can lock down that hallway from near ops anyway. I don't think you need to take that control, especially once Jigsaw has sight. But yeah, regardless, a lot of what-ifs that round for Chiefs. It was a very good start, but yeah. Ludvica have got teeth.
Yeah, and I didn't get to touch on it in the pre-show, but Kara's top 5 rated player in the league this stage, that he's having a tremendous stage. You know, you think backstage 1, it was kind of all about Lunchbox and what he was doing, but Kara's really stepped up his game. And along with that, you know, you think back to last stage, Milo, of course, with his comeback stage being as good as it was, well, he's kept up that same level of play. So really, all this team in terms of Ludvica really requires, if I'm going, and this is not to call anyone out, but Karma is probably the last link in the chain. If you can get Karma going on this roster, because Boxer still had a good stage, 11th rated EPS, Milo's in the top 10, Kyra top 5. You get Karma to kind of join these guys, Physics being the support player. That is what's going to make or break for Ludvica being able to qualify for, say, the major LAN qualifiers. And I think he's the one that has to be kind of just stepping up a little bit. Currently, for Karma at this stage, 87 EPS. He's minus on entry, minus on KD. He's a really good player, really good fragger. Starts well this game, 2 early kills. And if he can start to build form through the playoffs to come, and that's going to make Ludvica more threatening.
Well, on this roam clear now for Chiefs. It's quite a heavy setup off site. A lot of reinforcements. Try and protect the vert above the bomb site, but I don't see a lot of players actually roaming. Cairo's just loitering on the blue stairs. Everyone else down in the basement for now. The vert game will come into play with Jigsaw on the ram. Last play day against Dream Warriors, Jigsaw was unbelievable on that ram. I think I saw him get a 4K. Just tear up the floor and then peek everything with that R4C. He farmed like crazy. Ludvica, of course, a much more formidable opponent than Dream Warriors. But this is where it comes in from Jigsaw. Floor getting torn up. Chiefs need to have more than just one angle of ingress onto the site. Otherwise, it'll be so easy to fight back.
Velcam spotted, dealt with. Cairo again. Oh my goodness. Okay, it might be one of those days. Might be one of those days where Cairo, you know, comes into it, like you said, grudge match, and wants to kind of just remind a few people, especially on Chiefs, you know, you got rid of me, you wanted to make some changes, look what I can still do. And yeah, at the end of the day, it is only group stage when we went into the second round, but he is looking very, very good. And now you could just fall back, play site. 40 seconds left. This is where, you know, someone like Milo is going to be able to organize this team and say, guys, we can just play site now. Don't peek, don't get too aggressive.
Oh, no.
Quiz gets caught by Milo, speaking of him, and this round's done.
Yeah. Wow. Another round that really Chiefs could have looked very solid on, but trying to cut off Cairo in his position on the stairs. Not only did he find 2, but they didn't even cut him off on the retreat. It goes from bad to worse. Now it's desperate for Jigsaw. Karma's waiting for him. Easy kill with the UMP. Brendo last one, low HP. He'll bait for 1. This isn't going to happen. Box gets aggressive and finds a kill of his own. Cairo getting lippy in the all chat. I think he really has fired up today. Keen as to take on the Chiefs, and he's come to play.
Yeah, he has. I mean, there's not much else to really say right now. Cairo has been the difference. In the opening round, Chiefs would have won that game. If Cairo doesn't make that push, get the double kill towards main stairs, I think Chiefs probably win that round. And then in this round, he gets, you know, a nice 2K as well at the midpoint when the round is still alive, with the setup kind of now then being executed by Chiefs. So he's been the difference in 2 rounds. He's not single-handedly won them the 2 rounds, but he's been the difference. And Chiefs are going to have to overcome that. I think they're good enough that they will also have a very strong defense here on a map like Lair, but really good signs right now for Ludvica. And I think this is the thing about Cairo is that, as you said before, he plays well in these kind of grudge matches, and when he takes it maybe a little bit personal, you know, he needs to then bring that same energy to a team like Enterprise and try and find that within himself to play as well as he does when he probably has these personal feelings outside of those kind of matches as well. But which, to be fair, to his credit, you think back to Montreal last year, James, and it was Cairo and Quiz that were the ones that actually were the best internationally on a team with quite a lot of talent and experience. Those were the 2 that actually stood up.
Yeah, the 2 youngest both having their debut at the main stage. I think they would have been the only debut players on that team, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah, just based on what I can remember. You know, Tex, for example, he played way back in the Fnatic days. Anyhow, moving on into this round, it's Ludvica on the tertiary bomb site. And this one, it's funny that it's a tertiary bomb site because, Jake, man, so many teams are so good at defending this because it is so hard to attack. You've got to crack open the R6 room defense because if you don't, you're going to lose vertically, right? Unless if the defense screws up the vert. unless if they screw up the plant denial. But you're not going to do that when you've got the Warden and Solus combination. Don't even have a bulletproof camera outside of Cairo's one. There's no Evil Eyes, no Maestro. It really just comes down to the denial from that Warden and Solus on that top floor. So Chiefs have to deal with it. They can't ignore it. They can't rush a plant on site. It's just not possible.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of information on Lair. Funnily enough, globally, it's the second most played map this stage, which is a huge reversal from stage 1. And it's the third most defender-sided map. And actually, you've got top floor and basement, both equal on Z-Fan. Soda, good pick onto Karma. Needed that one. Gets rid of the Warden. As I said, though, you've got to take this top floor, and it is very strong defensively. Nade will fall back for Moloska. He's forced into drop to security. Holds his Nitro for now. I think he might have just either pre-placed it.
Yeah, he's pre-placed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, timing here. He might get an audio call, though, through the holes in the floor. But also, if there's not much sound, Quiz might actually hear that Nitro as well. He walks too far forward, he will get taken out. But no, he's on the solid floor for now. He's not going to approach. I don't think Jigsaw will know about it, though. Timing could be on here for Milo. That C4 could find a lot, but no. Jeez, evaporate. Cairo and Physics tempted to go for a flank as well from the other side.
Well, Physics will have to be the one. There's 30 seconds left in the round. He'll have to just commit to this top floor flank in the next 10-15 seconds.
There's not a lot of time left. Milo does find a shot through the floor, actually, onto Quiz. Oda on the Blackbeard needs to be the blunt force instrument for Chiefs here on this execute, and it has to be timed well because Physics is on that flank. They're going to have to go deep, find a pick or two on site, but no, Box hidden amongst the rafters somehow finds his. But as Chiefs are up onto site, they find most of the picks. It's all up to Physics now.
Oh, no.
He's going to be able to deny the plant from above, but Jigsaw saves it for Chiefs. Not possible for Physics. He had the lineup, but Jigsaw covered his teammate to perfection.
Oh, that is a big-time shot from Jigsaw. He doesn't hit those shots through the floorboard, which can be difficult, and that gets denied, and that's round win for Ludvica, and they're 3-0 up. And I was going to say, you know, Physics came in very, very late. Now, admittedly, there's two ways you can kind of try and play that position for Physics. You're coming in to deny as they're dropping, find a pick, but then maybe you lose your life, and with that, you lose that vert and the plant denial. Or you come in very late with the clear objective of, I'm just there to try and deny a plant, which he almost did that. And I'm imagining that's really what was instructed for him to do in that round. But it did mean that as Chiefs were dropping, they had more and more bodies to be able to commit. Jigsaw, he's just not sure exactly where he was coming from, how quick he has to react and hit those shots through the beams. Massive round for Chiefs because they really needed that considering how things had been going for them. And now you got to go back through the rotation, especially top floor basement, which are very difficult to attack into. They get rid of the Blackbeard for Ludvica, which is understandable because Oda kind of can crutch on that a little bit at times, and you take that away from him. Now he's a little bit more vulnerable. 1 and 3 hasn't had the greatest stage so far.
Yeah, wow, and you ban the Blackbeard. He's so desperate for something similar. He's going to go for the OCE, which is one of the least picked operators in the game at a pro level. Definitely by far the least played shield operator, mostly because she's not like other shield operators. She does have a shield, but she doesn't function like a shield operator in terms of the ability to sprint, the ability to do the knockdown. Yeah, usually you only do that when you have a really specific plant strat.
She's been played 11 rounds, James. She's the third highest win rate percentage operator globally.
Because she's 11 rounds globally?
Yeah, globally.
Wow. It's because she's really good at one thing, which is putting a shield down and planting behind it. And it's so site-specific. Mostly we just see it on bank, on the top floor, or actually sometimes even on the bottom floor. If there are no C4s or impacts, she can be really deadly. I've seen that a few times.
Rehost.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I'm not sure. Yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, the two operators as well that are above her win rate. So Doc is 7 out of 8 rounds. And then you've got Rook, #1 for 1 out of 1 rounds globally. Well,
after 230, Rehost has been denied. Wow.
Yeah, I think it was 2 minutes 15, actually. I think this round's just going to be, well, forfeited here for Chiefs now. You read out Quiz, you lose Sage, you lose Hard Breach. I think this is going to be 3-1 for Ludvica. You're on top floor. And to be fair, if there is going to be a site where you're the attacking team and you're having a fundamental issue and Quiz drops out and you lose, at least it's Master R6, and it's not like a tertiary site where it's a bit more 50-50 and you're a little bit more likely to win it. In saying that, technically, sites like Master R6 for the attacking team is a free punch in my mind. Like, you don't really have the expectation to win it. It's more like, can you steal it? I think Jigsaw's just going to go for broke here and see if he can get a little bit lucky on the timing. Gets one. Knows there's going to be another one towards the back end of this hallway. Round is still alive. You don't give up on it. And Jigsaw's that kind of player. He's got that kind of mentality. ROU to go out.
Perfect.
Brendo finds the kill onto Physics. This would be a disaster if Ludvica can't win this round. Jigsaw shuts down Cairo. And by Chiefs having the mentality to keep fighting till the very end despite what has happened, they have a chance to steal top floor.
I mean, they have the perfect setup for this too. With the shield, Jigsaw has to hold the line though. It's all he has to do is hold on, but Karma gets the better of him. 2v2 and into the post plant now with Box finding Oda. Brendo is the last one standing in the hallway as the sands will fall off. It's all up to Box and he knows exactly where he is. Box has to bait this out. It's going to come down to this 1v1. Brendo's going to have to time it well. Box gets off. Brendo sprints. And Box clutches the round for Ludvica.
Did he fat finger?
Bomb diffuser disabled by defenders.
That had to
I
be
don't
a
think
fat
so.
finger.
He got psyched out. I think he must have got psyched out. Wow.
Did he? Maybe he thought, and we'll never know unless we ask him, but maybe he thought it was much lower than it really was, and he just kind of mistimed the sound cues. But that is a huge, huge round. Considering everything that happened, a lot happened in this round. Yeah, he heard it, and to the credit of Box, like, he's timed the sound cue well. He lets it give off one more beep, and as soon as it does that, bam, he gets off it immediately and swings, because it was going to be one of the last kind of sound cues really given, and he's played that perfectly. Well played by Box, but Brendo, I would have thought an experienced player, you just never sprint in that situation. You swing it, but you don't sprint.
Wow, yeah, for a second there I thought that Box was going to stick the defuse, and I think that's exactly what Brendo thought as well. That's why he was baited into sprinting, and you know, he like literally just tapped the shift key. You can tell he didn't commit to the sprint. It was, I think, just a psyched out reaction. You know, as soon as he heard that extra tick, like you said, Box played it really well. He let it go a little bit longer than you'd expect, and yeah, psyched out Brendo. Amazing clutch from Box. This game is really heating up. We're at 3-1 in favor of Ludvica. Chiefs desperately need to find another round, which will go down on the other side of this short break.
That sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion, loving this devotion. Live it up, live it up, live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up, where I'm going. Stay on the fly, just in time, know the right way I've been thinking, 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 thinking about you. 아무리 고개 흔들어도 난 네 생각만 하고 있을 뿐. 아무리 딴짓해봐도 난 너의 목소리만 들릴 뿐. 있으면 내 here with me. 가득 심장이면 please tell me. 빨리 고백해볼까? 눈 감고 말해볼까? 미치겠어 only you, 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 you. 이런 건 처음이야. 너무 설렘이 좀 나. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about you, boy. Yeah, yeah. All I think about is you, boy. All I think about is yeah. Yeah, yeah. All I think about is you, boy. All I think about is yeah. 나만 아는 사람 손들어 하여 우리 눈엔 완벽한 lover. 내맘 아는 사람 손들어 하여 우리 눈엔 완벽한 lover. 다가가도 괜찮겠지? 다른 애들보다 내가 훨씬 단단하게 걸어가면 다들 속닥 속닥. My confidence is shooting through the roof. 아무리 고개 흔들어도 난 네 생각만 하고 있을 뿐. 아무리 딴짓해봐도 난 너의 목소리만 들릴 뿐. 있으면 내 here with me. 가득 심장이면 please tell me. 빨리 고백해볼까? 눈 감고 말해볼까? 미치겠어 only you, 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 you. 이런 건 처음이야. 너무 설렘이 좀 나. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about you, boy. Yeah, yeah. All I think about is you, boy. All I think about yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. All I think about is you, boy. All I think about yeah, yeah. 나만 아는 사람 손들어 하여 우리 눈엔 완벽한 lover. 내맘 아는 사람 손들어 하여 우리 눈엔 완벽한 lover. Hey, boy, I can sleep at night. So 내가 한번 해봐 이리 와서. Hey, boy, I can sleep at night. So 내가 한번 해봐 이리 와서. I've been thinking, I've been thinking, I've been thinking, I've been thinking, thinking about you. I've been thinking, I've been thinking, I've been thinking, I've been thinking, thinking about you. 처음 본 순간부터 눈을 뗄 수가 없었어. 이 세상 하나뿐인 너 처음 봤으니까 빠졌으니까. Then you got me sinking low. 사랑이란 단어로 썸도 아닌 썸을 타며 행복한 줄로. 친구들이 다들 바보래. 사랑 표현 못한 벙어리. 한 번도 안 해봐서 어떡해 honestly. Cause 1, 2, 3 중요한 건 you and me. 내 곁에만 있다면 baby can't you see. 자꾸 쳐다보면 boy 말이라도 걸어봐. 속마음을 표현해. I know it's gonna be alright. 손이라도 잡을까? 봄에 안겨볼까? Whatever your love language, I know it's gonna be alright. Can't take all this hot and cold. Love shouldn't be this hard. I know 뭐라고 있는지도 모르겠잖아. 어렵지 않아. 무슨 생각한지도
Well, Jake, it was a bit of an ordeal, but we do get everyone back into the server, ready to keep on playing. This has been a pretty crazy game. We're only 4 rounds deep. We've already had...
day.
It has, yeah. We've already had big clutches. Of course, that one that just happened, which we've had a few minutes since now, is Box clutching up against Brendo after Chiefs somehow brought it back to a 1v1 and got the bomb down, or plant down, I should say, despite losing Quiz early in the round. Thankfully, Quiz is back in now, and we restabilized. But the thing that's staying in my mind, Jake, is what we were talking about at the start of this match. Coming into it, I looked at the stats from Ludvica playing Lair in their previous 2 times they played it in the stage, and they really struggled on their attack. I said they need to hack through some solid defenses. They need a 4-2 split or better. It looks like they're on track for that.
Yeah, I can't get a read on this game now, though, because of what happened in the previous match. Similar circumstance. Man LFO looked good, big tech break, and then suddenly Outlast come out and just kind of, you know, continue to fire away. And with this kind of reset, it resets all the momentum and takes the sting out of the match a little bit. So it's unfortunate, but it means who's going to now come out of this break looking better. 2 rounds, can Chiefs get a couple more attacks? Again, I'm expecting them to do well defensively on this map of Lair. Looking at the statistics for this map, it really is in that mindset of a 2-4 half being really all you kind of need. So if you can get the 2 attacking rounds, so for Chiefs, you've got 2 opportunities to get that. So they're not really that far behind the 8 ball, even if it's a 1-3 scoreline. But I mean, the story so far has been Cairo. He's been outstanding. He's 5-1. No one else has even 4 or more kills. So he's been the difference maker. And again, didn't single-handedly win the first 2 rounds, but so much of an influence that he was the difference. Oda onto the Montaigne now, which again we already kind of touched on earlier, to help facilitate for him to kind of get around the map a little bit better. Early pressure onto Cairo. Good information.
Hello.
Oda does get taken to half.
That's a huge amount of damage. Well played there from Cairo. Obviously,
He
the
shot the gas
player...
pipe.
Yeah, it's a good play. And also the fact that he only shot it for a little bit of damage means that it takes a long time to subside. If you break it quickly, it goes away quickly, but if you only do a little bit of damage, it burns a lot more time, literally. Cairo, despite his score getting wasted away, he's been on fire today. He's continuing that form. Oda is so low.
Oh, no.
This nade almost actually takes down Oda. Oda's got to be really careful about where those nades go. So low on HP. Cairo just holding on. Brendo takes a hell of a lot of damage. I cannot believe Cairo is so committed to this. Eventually he falls, but huge amount of HP taken away by these 2 Chiefs players.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, commendable for Cairo there, because he basically just said to himself, I'm not getting away from this. I don't want to give up this position. I'm going to fight to the death. And while he doesn't find a kill, as you said, Oda incredibly low on that Monty, now has to be careful. Brendo was low, now finished off by Box due to that earlier work from Cairo. So it has a resonating effect throughout the rest of this round. And Jigsaw does find a pick onto Physics to reestablish that player advantage for Chiefs. Caught in the hallway.
Right.
Oda is down as well. Big kill from Quiz. Can they get the Monty back up? Karma, though, wasn't expecting the full swing from Sage. And Chiefs look aggressive in this 5th round.
Yeah, I think Oda's bugged out. What the hell's going on? He's standing while injured. But I don't think it'll matter for Chiefs this round. Flashbang goes out as Sage starts getting that plant. Takes only a tiny bit of damage from Milo and then sprays him on down. Good recomposure there for Chiefs after a little bit of an awkward dance. With Cairo on the stairs, they get back into it.
I wonder, could he shoot? Because he looked stuck, right? So he was obviously downed. But was he still like live? Was he still? He had his shield up. And then
it looks like, for all intents and purposes, so obviously it was some kind of bug there. I think for all intents and purposes, he was downed, but he was standing. So it looked like some kind of...
But he had shield, then switched to pistol. So to me, it sounds like he could have actually still just like had a say in the round. Now, fortunately, that wasn't the case.
I don't know.
But
he was moving slowly as if he was downed. I feel like he was...
No, I know that, but I'm saying, like, if he could have shot his gun and killed someone when he should have been down, that could have... Well, yeah, I'm just saying if he could have. I'm not saying he could. Yeah. We didn't know. And my point is, thankfully, that wasn't a factor in the round.
Didn't come into play. Yeah,
exactly.
Otherwise, it would have been a little bit awkward. Yeah, I'm guessing sometimes it happens when people change state, like between downed or whatever, when entering or exiting an animation like a rappel, or I think in this case it was vaulting the window. Sometimes things get a little bit how you're going. And yeah, we saw that happen a couple weeks ago in Asia League. Oh no, it was actually in Stage 1 playoffs. Remember that happening, Jake?
There's a
got
couple of
downed.
things that happened. There was a repel bug one, I think won the repel when they should have died, but then they went downed.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't revive them. Yeah.
And then there was one in group stage as well where they got like stuck in the vent on Clubhouse or something on the repel, couldn't move. Or yeah, I don't know.
Happens to the best of us.
But
thankfully,
a second
like you said, it
attacking
didn't
round
have
for
an impact.
Chiefs. So that's kind of, I think, job done territory for them. So they get a free crack on this 6th round. Puts a bit of pressure now back on Ludvica.
For sure. And look, if this is the Chiefs win, I actually think that momentum will have flipped. Ludvica struggle on their attacks on Lair. So moving into the second half, I don't think 3-3 is going to be enough, like I said before. So it comes down to whether Chiefs can get this one. They've been really leveraging that Montaigne. And it's not perfect. We saw Oda take a hell of a lot of damage at the start of last round, and it's not going to be perfect on this bomb site either, as you can deny that plant vertically, like we've talked about before. The thing that's different, though, is there's no Solus this time. There's Cairo on it, I believe, previously. They've got the Valkyrie for information, and it's so pivotal that you know what's happening on site, on this bomb site. Otherwise, that plant can get snuck, and it's challenging to retake.
I think the slower pace really does suit Chiefs when they play to their best ability, because I think at times when they're fully in that rush mode, even though it might work and Jigsaw gets an early kill, he's more susceptible to then getting traded due to the nature of the rush. When they play a little bit slower and Jigsaw can kind of be left to his own devices or potentially play behind an Oda on a Montaigne, they look a little bit more in sync as a team in terms of their actual strategy execution towards site, in terms of how they want to play the round. Almost akin to like the old Fisho days, if you will. Minute left into the round 5v5, so one of the kind of slower paced ones, clearly trying to just clear out this top floor, force Ludvica away.
I liked it. Chiefs are playing this slow and steady. I think they might go for everything all at once. Go for the plant while they're attacking on the top floor, but Karma here with the shoddy. He's going to be needed to look down through the vertical holes. They need to time this swing onto him perfectly. Can't use your flashes against that Warden. I don't know how they're going to win this fight. If this is just a peek from Sage, there's no way he wins it. Completely shut out of it by Karma with that shotgun. Someone else is going to have to swing. There's a nade from Brendo somehow confirms Cairo, so no more smokes to worry about, but it doesn't matter. Look at that timer, Jake. Karma is in the instrumental position to win it for Ludvica, but he goes down to Jigsaw. That's the pivotal kill here for the Chiefs. Oda's forcing the plant down, and Jiggy, he's holding from above. Physics falls. Everybody falls for Ludvica. Chiefs end the half at an even score.
Wow. I mean, the chaos coming out of the break. I'm glad I said what I said earlier, James, about really not being able to get a read on the game. Similar to our previous one coming out of attack, because then Chiefs have just responded. They look fired up now. Whatever happened during the break, they just look absolutely fired up. And to get 3 attacking rounds on Lair. Bans and Oda, please leave.
I think, yeah, Oda's...
It's just like, Oda, get out of here. Like,
Get
what?
I heard that we need to, a player needs to restart the game. I don't know if it was Oda or Quiz. Quiz is the one that's just left. Now Oda's left. Oh, it's Quiz. Awesome. Okay. So
And then Oda
Oda's
just left.
as well.
No.
I don't know. Our production team's telling us it's Oda. Quiz has just left. Maybe that he's taking advantage to restart the game. Yeah, great question.
Pause, please. Or are we rehearsing? I don't know. Either way, to the rounds itself. I mean, clearly Chiefs just look a little bit more amped up, James. Like, they look a little bit more fired up. That's the vibe that I'm getting here from these 2 rounds. And it's why whenever you have an extended... But like, if it's just like a tech pause and it's just a pause, I think momentum can still carry over quite nicely. Anything into like longer rehosts and, you know, and certainly extended amounts of time, it really does take that sting out of the game, and then certain teams can respond to that, and clearly the Chiefs have. I mean, this game was Ludvica and Cairo were running rampant and had really good control over the match by and large, and then Chiefs just kind of come out of the tech break just looking really switched on. They get 3 attack rounds, they get to switch to defense now, so the game's kind of now in their hands.
Yeah, in theory, this should be Chiefs from here on out. I'm going to look back at the previous matches from when Ludvica played on there. So yeah, I've got 5 defense rounds out of 6-1 against Outlast, and then 2 attacks out of 5. And then their EP game where they really struggled, that was 1 out of 6 attacks and then 1 out of 3 defenses. So obviously that was just a very much different, very much like a different skill difference. EP obviously always have the number over Ludvica, but yeah, the trend is there that, you know, Luda do struggle on this map. I think Chiefs might have just done enough to get across the line on their own attack. So we move into their defenses. 3-3. Ludvica. Oh, thankfully we got everyone back in the game, Jake. I was worried there for a minute. I'm going to be fully transparent with you. I was sweating.
Sweating?
I was sweating.
Well, I mean, luckily it wasn't a full rehearse, so, I mean, clearly, for whatever reason, Quizoda needed to leave the lobby and then rejoin back in. I was sweating the fact that we were still counting down to start the round, but luckily that got paused in time. So we go into the second half. Bans as well to kind of touch on. So the Blitz, the Ying, and then from Ludvica's side of things, Azami and the Smoke banned away from Chiefs. So we head into the second half now. Again, Chiefs have kind of got the momentum and have certainly come out of the break looking better. And while we did just have then that slightly longer halftime break, I don't think that's going to change too much. They go on defense now. They go top floor. Like, this is for me where Ludvica's got to try and refine some of their own fire and see what they can now do on the attack. And it has to kind of start here. Can they steal one away early in the second half? But we kind of coined this as match of the day territory, and certainly the matchup of the day. And 3-3 scoreline. My hope is it continues in this kind of fashion. I wouldn't like to see a blowout from here either way.
Yeah, no, I hope not. See, Ludvica gets to set the pace on this attacking side, and yeah, bans come through. It's 1 shield ban and the Ying ban. Quite a contrast to what we saw in that first series today, Jake, where it was all about, you know, hard breach or shield bans. This is so much more exciting. Ludvica getting rid of the Azami and the Smoke, both very powerful operators, but not your default bans. So I'm really loving that. It, of course, leaves the clash open. I want to know how they're going to deal with that. Not easy to take down Oda on that clash.
Slow start to this round. Nitrocell prepped by Jigsaw. They got 3.
Wow, this is
kickstart this defense.
Look at this lineup here with the Capitao. I don't mind it. It's going to block off any sort of a retake from the hallway on the other side. It might enable Box to make his way up the stairs. Wiz is down below, though, and he gets the perfect timing onto Box. Could not have asked for better timing there. Ludvica have a nice little idea of the strat, but telegraphed a little bit too much. I don't think it's going to work out. Down below, Cairo's desperately spraying through the floor. A smoke grenade, I think that missed as well. Yeah, Ludvica, this plan has not worked out.
Rando's thinking about getting aggressive, but no, thinks better of it. At least for now. Gets rid of the drone. Oda will put the shield down.
It stands on its own.
I mean, how are they going to deal with this?
Yeah, I don't think there's much to be done here for Luda, to be honest. You look at all the nades gone. That's how you need to clear out Oda. No flashes to work with. No vertical. Oh, no competent vertical pressure. No, from Box, as he's dead. Even Cairo on the Kali, I don't think there's a lot he can do. The breach onto site is still foregone by Ludvica. Sage is still holding on. He can still continue juggling. There's the breach. Physics, though, is going to try and fire out one of these players. He's going to have to take the fight onto Sage in the close angle. Karma gets him. 11 seconds to go. Jigsaw and Karma trade directly. 3v3. As Physics starts to get that diffuser planted, Cairo's got a cover with the Kali, and he does.
Oh.
Another one for Cairo. He's the massive sniper that Ludvica needed. All up to Oda now on this retake, and the round has flipped on its head. I didn't think Ludvica would come up with attacks like this. And out of nowhere, they cover it, and they make it work. Oda's a dead man walking. What an attack from Ludvica.
Yeah, I mean, commendable. That is a big round from Ludvica to win it, because they looked a little bit dead to rights throughout the middle portion of that round. Certainly the setup. I thought that Chiefs looked rather locked down, but they've just found a way through. Cairo stands up again, and it's another round where it's like he's not the one defining factor. He hasn't done like a Neptune in the previous game, 1v4 to win the round single-handedly. He's played with his team, and his team has helped him out. But like right here, this solidifies the round. You get those 2 kills on the Kali, that's going to be then job done. You miss that shot, you die. Suddenly Chiefs then have an avenue back into the round. So again, a big round from Cairo, but really good systems by Ludvica to crack that defense top floor, take that away from Chiefs, and now it's game back on. Chiefs forced down into the basement, which has the same defensive win rate as top floor. Different play style though. Yeah, it's been a very, very fascinating game.
Yeah, I still can't believe Luda won that. Definitely, Chiefs looked so solid. It was a 5v4 for them. After taking down Box on the Deimos, they had solid positions. They weren't over-peaking. They were playing it well. And then, yeah, somehow, still don't know how, but somehow the breach got opened up. I think maybe Sage was being pressured from below, didn't want to go for the juggle. And when he falls, everything falls for the Chiefs. Ludvica have shown that, contrary to what I was saying before, they can attack on Lair. They've already got one first round straight out of the gates, looking solid. It was close, but a lot of these rounds have been for both teams. It's been a close affair. It's a close match, and it's exactly what we expected out of these two teams who are sitting right at the top, dancing in and out of those top 2 spots on the standings.
I mean, that's what we wanted. I mean, you never want to see these kind of games, as I said, become a blowout. And I think with Ludvica being on attack, while it can be a contest, I don't see them running away with, like a 7-3 win from here. That would be quite damning if that does happen. But it feels like now they've got their tails back up. So it's been a game of momentum. First part of this game, Ludvica really started well. Then Chiefs bring it back after the break. Now Ludvica go and take an early attacking round. So can they carry on from here? Lurk. And maybe the rush to follow. In through stock. Straight past the utility. And they find the pick onto Sage as well, who wanted to try and come and disrupt this attack. He gets caught. Oda as well. This is a solid rush from Ludvica straight into the basement.
It is, but it's not perfect. It's not flawless. Karma has taken a lot of HP damage from that Vulcan canister, and Physics has died from it. Milo's found yet another pick, though, and the diffuser's about to go down. Quiz. Nice hip-fire shot straight into Karma's head. No more Blackbeard to worry about. No more shields to worry about now as Chiefs look for the 2v3 retake. The nades coming through, and I think that was Box finding one. Quiz on the floor, all up to Jigsaw now. It's going to have to be a 1v3 as he finds Milo. Has a little bit of info to work with from Quiz crawling along the floor, but I'm not even sure if he knows where the plan's gone down. And he swipes Box's head off. 1v1. Jigsaw v Cairo, but Cairo's got him dead to rights. Again, Cairo fires up against his old team.
Where's the chat? What's he typing? Come on. As if you don't type something there, Cairo, in a 1v1 against Jig, against your old team. And another big round from Cairo. Nothing. Silent. And maybe just in the server, all that needs to be said, that he's got their measure right now in this match on Lair. And it was a really good response from Chiefs as well to even bring this round back. Does this even have any right of becoming a 1v1? Probably not. The power of Jigsaw. But this is a really good hold from Cairo. Backed himself in. Another little teabag. They go 5-3 up. And they get 2 attacking rounds, James.
I cannot believe it.
I just don't understand how this game is playing out right now. But, I mean, it's a testament to both teams and just their ability to win close rounds. And Ludvica is showing right now that, they're not just going to kind of fall back to third fiddle. They're going to fight for that top 2. They think, and rightfully so, that they can get to that major qualifier LAN as a top 2 team from OCE. They've got that within themselves. They did it stage 1 by making the grand final. And despite this Chiefs roster being put together, they still hold themselves in high stead.
That's right.
2 rounds away.
You know what, Jake, if Ludvica beat Chiefs, then we really do have a true 3-horse race for
the potato
championship in OCE. Potato of parity. I've not heard that one before.
Well, it's the fact that EP beat Ludvica, who beat Chiefs, and Chiefs beat EP. So they've all beaten each other. It's just going around in a circle. So
it's a little rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Potato
Oh,
and parrot. I've never heard that before. That might just be my new favorite thing.
So now it's up to Chiefs to respond, right? So it's been a game of high momentum swings. So Chiefs now on defense have kind of given up the two main sides. They've got to find a way to get that momentum back on their side since Oda had to leave the server. Apparently he took his powers with him as well. O3 since then has actually just struggled in this game outright. 1-6 overall. And we know he plays a different role. He's not the Oda of old. You think back when Jig first left the roster and how good Oda performed after that. And he had to kind of help fill that jigsaw hole. Well, ever since, you know, we've kind of gone on from those days, he's moved more and more to that supportive role. But you still got to have impact, even as a support player.
Unk is struggling today for Chiefs. Ludvica have certainly dashed all expectations I had of their attacks. They have crushed Chiefs 2 rounds in a row. And it's crazy that on the second play day, only won 1 out of 6 against EP. Now they're 2 for 2 against Chiefs. Quiz losing his fight to Box. And that might just be the floodgates opening for Ludvica.
Not yet. It's a trade. It's not really an opening kill advantage. Physics poking and prodding. And to be fair, losing Quiz, not the end of the world. You know, Banshees would have already been pre-placed. The box starting to get activated, and Oda goes for the right
what are you
swing.
doing, brother?
He does not need to do that. Not against a sharper, younger gunner in box. Gives up the advantage now to Ludvica.
That it does. Sage trying to juggle his position. And he does successfully get rid of that secondary hard breach charge. No more hard breach available now for Ludvica. They're going to have to get a little bit more cheeky with it. They're going to have to find some kills. I think they're going to send Box down below to try and get a vert shot onto Sage, but he doesn't have the scan onto the Bandit, so he's not going to be able to track him. That's why they've just gone in sight and they're trying to ping out some of the gadgets. Now he can look for the mirror, but Brendo, I don't think he's in a vulnerable position. The one that they need to worry about here is the Bandit. So he opens up the floor. There's no track, but he still has that Vendetta in hand. Of course, Sage can fight back. So can Jigsaw. Gets the better of Cairo. A 1v1 revenge for the clutch of last round. But the timer is ticking away, and Box has got to get big because Brendo has just found a whole slew of kills. His brother joins in, and Chiefs finally stabilize with a defense of their own.
Oh, boy, they needed that one. And to be fair, once Box went below, couldn't really deal with the Bandit. I think that was just about the round done. And then what really solidified it was when Cairo couldn't hit the shot on the Carly onto Jigsaw. Then that's it. That's round done at that point. I felt like there wasn't really going to be a way back for Ludvica. They didn't even really have the time. But again, here in the mid-round, this is a wide swing from Oda. Tries to catch Box off guard. But what else is Box really going to be looking at there? That's got to be in your mind. When you're swinging that, you need to be really quick on the pre-fire, and you have to then hope you're hitting the right shot in terms of where is he standing, left side, right side, down the middle of the stairs. Whereas from Box's angle and his position, he's only got one thing to look at. You can only come from one direction. So if Oda whiffs on the pre-fire, it's an insta-kill. So it's a big margin of error. And unfortunately for Chiefs, it didn't come back to bite them. Timeout expires 4-5, heading into the 10th round. And so far, this game is promising.
Yeah, that it is, Jake. Chiefs have had a chance to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? We've got to keep on rolling on these defenses, still trailing behind. What are we going to ban on out? Here it comes, Warden and Lion. I like this Warden ban. The Lion ban is interesting. I mean, Ludvica are playing it every single round, but not a common ban, not these days. If anything, some teams, you know, pick that Lion. It just signifies that they're going to go for a rush. It sometimes lets you read into the opposing team a little bit better. And, well, if I'm not wrong, the Dokkaebi, yeah, Dokkaebi's been left in. So, I don't know. I feel like if you want something similar to a Lion, go for it. Dokkaebi, that global util. It's the big ban that I'm seeing here is that Warden. I think Ludvica, despite the Ying and Blitz ban, there's still a lot of flashes that they can work with, and also the smokes, especially when it comes to that tertiary bomb site. Should we get there, Jake, which we haven't seen yet because it's all been top and bottom at the moment, we get to that tertiary site, Warden is almost essential at making sure that you have good plant denial.
Yeah, and Bunk's briefing in the first half was won by Chiefs twice, so Yeah, Chiefs kind of have left the door really open for Ludvica. So even if this goes 5-5, then Chiefs have to go to the tertiary, where statistically Ludvica will be more likely than the other two main sites to win it out, and then that would get them to 6. That would get them to at least OT at minimum. But with the way that it's now kind of shaped up is that if that does eventuate, then overtime looks likely, doesn't it? Because then Chiefs are more likely statistically to make it 6-6, which... But as said, coming into this game, the likeliness of overtime, I think this is the kind of matchup where it's far more likely than unlikely. I mean, we're not there yet. I mean, Chiefs still need to win this round. You lose this, and suddenly I don't think there is a way back into it. I think at 6-4, Ludvica should be able to then close it out.
Reloading!
Big round. And Box has quietly got himself into a really big role in this game. Started quiet. Now he's 8-7 overall, and you can see the majority of it really since that kind of rehost that we had earlier in the action. 9-4 for Cairo. So he's tempered a little bit, which is good news for Chiefs. And Jigsaw double digits, but they really need others to be firing alongside him. Quiz so far has been quiet in this match. Only the 4 kills overall. 3 since the rehost. And takes a bit of damage on his way back towards the site.
Dokubi call rings on out as they're trying to hunt these roamers, and they succeed. Nice shot from Cairo there. Not fully opening up that barricade, baiting Brendo into a little bit of an overpeak. Gets rid of the Solus. Nice on an early. So no more util from Brendo going to be useful in this round. This is a good setup here from Luda. What's more, you got that Finker, so you take a bit of damage hunting roamers. You just heal it straight back up again. Tons of global util here between the Finker and the Dokubi as the second call rings on out. Solidifying vertical control for Luda. The problem is they don't have a lot of vertical utility. There is still a roamer at large. It's Jigsaw answering his phone, but he has been heard.
Well, has he? I don't think so. Unless Kara is just checking for potentially another one. Just the way he's holding this angle, it's difficult. Well, it gets the drone out, then swings the doorway. And
no
one
way,
by
Jigsaw.
Yeah, I don't think Kara actually did end up hearing him because the way that then the drone went through and then he turned his attention to the right side.
Yeah, maybe not. That's a bit of a missed opportunity there for Ludvica. They should have found Jigsaw, but not only does he get a kill, he gets away with his life. It's going to come down to the Rayora. As the gates deploy, Quiz swings and finds physics. No more wind in the sails for Ludvica here. Karma wants to drop, but he doesn't even have that diffuser. Down he goes, spots out one. Sage laps him on up, all up to Milo now. That's a big 2-piece.
Just high.
And it is possible, but he's got no diffuser and no time to work with either. Oda and Jigsaw don't have to do anything here. They can just sit back, relax, and Quiz is going to laugh at him. Get your one kill, get the stat. But of course not the round, and that's Chiefs coming back and tying the scoreline. Immediately, Ludvica reply with a timeout of their own.
Yeah, 5-5 timeout, round 11, and I think this is your favorite round in Siege, isn't it, James?
Oh yeah,
5-5.
it is. Breakpoint,
breakpoint. And it's, again, I still have that feeling that overtime is the more likely scenario. Because this is going to be a real test now for Chiefs. Having to go to the tertiary for the first time in the second half. Bunks and briefing.
And with no warden and no smoke.
No, and so if they can win this and then they get to go top floor again, suddenly 7-5 for Chiefs looks very likely. So huge round here for Ludvica to take this tertiary site. And hence the timeout as well. I mean, it's a timely timeout going into the site that they know they're going to be hitting and having to organize into a round that they pretty much have to win. Not that they can't win, and as they've already shown, they can win those top floors, but Chiefs are starting to look a little bit more resilient and a little bit stronger here. So huge round coming up.
I think you're right on the money, Jake. First time we're seeing the tertiary site defended by Chiefs. No smoke, no warden. How are they going to play it? How are Ludvica going to attack it? It's going to come down to a bit of pressure on the top floor, but critically, that execute onto site. We got the Sens. This is likely Sens' favorite map, I would say. I think I see more Sens on Lair than any other map. But of course, we've also got flashes and smokes coming into the power with no warden on the board. Time delay is going to be harder on the top floor with no smoke. And so Chiefs settle in, figure out how they're going to be attacking or rather defending this top floor. We got the Malusi to try and delay a little bit of time. I think Ludvica are set up really well to win this round. And I think they need to because, Jake, if they lose this, I feel like Chiefs have brought that momentum back.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get the same feeling. So it's a big round, looking to guys like Box and Cairo to try and, you know, find those early picks, stifle the defense. And for Chiefs, you've just got to try and play as locked in as possible in this round, knowing full well Ludvica is going to be able to get a little bit more map control. They're going to try and clear out this top floor. It's quite systems-based. They're not going to do anything, I would imagine, too crazy. And so, fully aware of the fact that you're going to have to win your peak battles on this top floor through the doorways. And Chiefs have probably looked a little bit worse at times, I think, when they've gone for more of the aggressive plays on defense, and looked better when they've just held back a little bit.
Quiz is not tempted to hold back. He wants to go and make a play here. And he might have read this on Karma. You can see there's a player on the camera. Karma in that position. I feel like Quiz knows it's a nuke. I just have this feeling that he's got a suspicion here. Shoots out that drone as Karma continues to take space through lobby. But that's a long way away from the bomb site and a long way away from the top floor where we expect most of the contention to go down. This is a very strange attack from Luda. They're not focusing up on that top floor at all.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's going to be the right play unless Chiefs really fluff it. You're going to have that vert. So unless Ludvica can play off of these ROUs, get into a position they get the plant down successfully, that'll be their main win con. They lose Molosca, not the end of the world. If you're not going to clear this top floor, you need to keep Cairo up on the sends. Use those ROUs to get a plant down successfully.
Even then. It's hard to plan on the side at the best of times with no top floor control. I don't know if it's possible here for Luda. It's a very risky game plan that they brought to the table. They're just looking for gaps at the moment. If Karma finds one, it could be on.
Yeah, but it's a solo, well, it's relatively right now a solo kind of lurk. I mean, Box is on the other side of Skybridge, but you're going into a stacked top floor defense. Karma has been able to slip in towards Master, though. So this is the win con now. He has to find a couple of kills here.
Is Jigsaw ready for him? Jigsaw swings and takes his head clean off. Big opportunity now for Jigsaw to go big. Box does reply with the pistol out, finds the trade, but Sage gets him straight on back again. It's going to be match point for Chiefs unless Cairo and Physics can do something incredible here. All up to Cairo now. He's had some massive rounds, but he can't even finish off Brendo. Out comes the pistol, and there's no way that this happens. 15 seconds. This has been such an uninspired attack from Ludvica, and Chiefs lock in the round and match point.
Yeah, I just wonder if they've overcooked it a little bit. I think from the strategy perspective, from what I watched, it's a matter of let's try and get some pressure on site a little bit, or at least around site. Maybe force Chiefs into thinking we're going to go for a direct hit, not clear above, and we'll send Karma and Box up above as kind of like solo lurkers to catch Chiefs off guard. But Chiefs have got just numbers, so many positions that need to be cleared. Now, admittedly, I think Karma probably should have killed Jigsaw. If that's not Jigsaw, I think he kills most players 9 times out of 10 there, and then that maybe opens up that top floor. So I don't think the strategy is completely awful, because the default nature is to just send all the bodies up above and force Chiefs to play then first floor, you know, later in the round. They've clearly tried to do something a little bit differently, and while it doesn't work, I'm not going to, you know, blast them for it. I think that there's a world in which that could have worked. Karma being able to lurk into Master, get into that position, finds that kill onto Jigsaw. Okay, maybe then it actually looks ingenious. So it doesn't work out. They go for the play. Chiefs win the tertiary and do what Ludvica couldn't in the first half, but now rightfully they go. Top floor, main site, 6-5 to close this out in regulation. But Ludvica have already shown, James, in this half, they have the ability to take this site.
It was a long time ago, though, Jake. That was the very first round of this half. It's been quite a stretch since then. We've seen 2 tactical timeouts. We've seen disconnects. We've seen so much between these teams. And Ludvica, I think the wind... I think Chiefs has really turned the tide. And this could be the moment where they lock it in. Ludvica have to step up now.
Drone
As they look for this attack onto the top floor, my question, what are they going to do? Are they going to try and breach once again that wall from the hallway into sight where Sage keeps on trying to juggle? Are they going to go for the same kind of attack we've seen from them time and time again? Or are they going to try and do something drastically different like we saw last round, where they were looking for gaps? Problem is, like you said, Jake, it's hard to find a gap when you're playing against a player like Jigsaw, and a 50-50 with him is more like a 30-70. He's on fire at the moment, 14 kills, only 6 deaths. So many 1v1s that he's winning that could otherwise determine the round for Ludvica.
Breach. 14-6 for Jigsaw, 11-9 for Lunchbox. It's the former young gunner versus the new young gunner. Jigsaw now the seasoned pro. Trying to clear it from below. Molosca opening pick onto Oda. And a second onto Jigsaw.
How's he gotten in here? Straight into sight for 2 kills, but Milo does eventually get traded back, and it does also bait Physics into an early demise. Sage has stepped up. Chiefs recompose after what was a very strange execute. A sneak in from the site, a gap found by Milo, and Cairo finds his own. Sage goes down. Quiz dropping below?
Oh no.
This is a strange way to play it. I think Ludvica might have Chiefs' number.
Are they aware that he made the drop though? Big kill onto Box.
Oh
but
no!
Karma does get the kill onto Quiz and leaves it down to Brendo in the 1 versus 2. So much time here for Karma and Cairo to just think their way through the final 50 seconds. Cairo's going to go for the plant. Karma can watch the cross, never mind. Repositions to get closer towards the planter, and we go to overtime. Once again, Ludvica just sweep through this top floor.
A much needed OT, and exactly what Ludvica needed to do is what happened. Jake, they needed to change up their playstyle. They were playing so linearly for so much of that half. Chiefs started to read into it, and they stalled them out. Ludvica said, okay, instead, we're going to play aggressively. We're going to try and find gaps. We're going to play a lot more split. We're going to rely on individual players making their mark on the round, and that's exactly what Milo did at the start of the round. Even though he was traded, it set the tempo for the rest of that defense. Chiefs were not able to sit back and relax, constantly being pushed, and Ludvica managed to find a safe plant position in the 2v1. Exactly what we needed out of them, and now we go into yet another attack round for them.
I mean, it's still really difficult to call this because typically you would say, well, Chiefs go double defense, that's going to be enough. But Ludvica have shown on their attacks more than capable. They've won it twice now on Master R6. They've already won Basement as well. The only site they actually haven't won on the attack for Ludvica is in Bunks and Briefing, funnily enough. But we go Basement. Box thought about the Ossa temporarily, then switches over to the Grim on the attack, a repick. Cairo onto the Monty. It also means, of course, now neither of these two teams are going to be able to get all 3 points. So the 2 points up for grabs. They both walk away with 1. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's going to change too much. Enterprise have got TSG and then Outlast. If they win both those 2 games, I would imagine they'll probably finish atop the standings. So whoever wins this still is likely to finish second.
Question remains, though, is it going to be the, what did you call it? The potato parody?
The potato parody.
The potato parody.
We go. Yeah. Chiefs
is it
need to win out.
Yeah. No, Ludvica need to win out, right? Because Chiefs beat EP.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so if Ludvica win, then we have the potato parody. We have the rock, paper, scissors between the top 3 teams in OCE. If Chiefs win, then that means that they have beaten both of the top teams. And even though they lost to some mid-tier teams, it sets up very well a precedent for Chiefs to take that #1 mantle away from Enterprise.
I mean, it's lived up to the billing at the very least, and you know, really kind of sets the tone. And if I had to kind of glance quickly into the future, you know, could this be a lower bracket final that potentially decides who goes to the major qualifier land? Absolutely. Big damage onto Cairo. The Adrenal Search can only do so much from the Finker, gets him back up a little bit, and I imagine Molosca will continue to expend those over the next couple of 40 seconds or so.
Just need to keep pumping that Monty up. Means that Kara is going to have to play a little bit more passively for now. This Roam is still at large, and there is a flank opportunity here for Brendo and Jigsaw upstairs, as Ludvica are really talking up the pressure on site, and Physics finds his pick. Goodbye, Oda. We need these flanks to come through quickly now for Chiefs so that these roamers can have an impact. Jigsaw spotted by Karma on flank watch. Maybe the flanks won't be possible after all. Maybe they're going to have to go back downstairs and help Brendo because he's just fallen. Physics traded back eventually by Quiz. Chiefs need to stand up here because Luda are getting close to the site.
Yeah, where's Sage? He needs to get involved now over towards Stock. He gets caught though. Nicely done by Cairo. Sage will go down. Needed to win that, and it was always going to be unlikely. Quiz in the 1v4. Not happening. Ludvica, again. Their sheer aggression once they get to the site just seems almost unstoppable, and they take match point here in overtime. Go on defense as well, and looking to get the job done against Chiefs.
What a revival for Ludvica. After a rough track record on Lair so far this stage, they bring it out against the big dogs of Chiefs, and my God, they are looking on fire. It's been a back and forth match, hasn't it, Jake? Ludvica had the lead for a while. Chiefs went on a spending spree and came back to take match point. Since then, it's Luda pushing into overtime, taking the first round of it, and potentially looking to close it out right here. Chiefs now on their own attack have to win on this top floor, which they never did on their attack half. They won bunks briefing, they won basement. They never won this top floor attack. Ludvica are in pole position right now for a victory lap.
And remember, though, of course, Chiefs do have the ability to win attacking rounds themselves, but they won the majority of those on bunks briefing and then the other one on lab. They were never able to take top floor. So that's the concern right now if you're Chiefs, is that you didn't actually win this site in the opening half. So right now, Ludvica certainly in pole position to close out the series, take the 2 points, and for what would then very likely, by the end of the group stage come tomorrow, put them in a top 2 position. Job's not done yet. The concerning statistic for me, though, James, is you kind of look at the opening kill metric, and 5 of the last 6 rounds, it's gone the way of Ludvica. I mean, that's quite one-sided territory.
Yeah. A lot of work to be done here.
One opening kill for Jigsaw.
Yeah. Strange, isn't it? I was looking at the opening kills before across the stage. Ludvica in stage 1 were actually the... Sorry, no, this is stage 2. Ludvica are the best team at getting the opening pick in the OCE League, crazily enough. They do struggle to convert it, though, compared to some of the top-level teams, like your Chiefs and your Enterprise. Strange to see Jigsaw not in the opening kills, at least not finding them. The Chiefs continue poking.
This stage so far, though, Chiefs have been the best team at opening kills in terms of just the raw statistic itself at 56%. There it is. Talk about it, it might happen. Jigsaw does find that opening kill, but there's a quick trade by Milo onto Oda, and that's the Montang that has been eliminated.
Yeah, it's a big pick to find, but also taking down the Warden gives you a little bit more mobility when it comes to using the flashbangs. No smokes this round, though. Tough thing for Chiefs here is taking out Box, who's really tucked in to that mask position on the main wall with the Tubarão. An adaptation that Ludvica have brought out just for this potential final round, really leaning into the Tubarão and the Kaid. And it's kept the site fortified. However, it doesn't keep them alive when Brendo and Quiz and Jigsaw spring to life out of nowhere. I don't know what that was from Ludvica forcing the issue, but it was not what they needed. Another round we go to, and Chiefs finally have another match point.
Yeah, I just don't know anymore at this point. I just keep trying to look at some of the stat lines and what should happen and maybe what shouldn't happen, and this entire game has just been a case of you can't predict it. You really can't. And I guess the takeaway for me this game, James, is that these two teams are pretty even, at least right now, today. Whether that changes by, you know, say towards the back end of playoffs in a decider for, you know, a top 2 spot. And we kind of sit back and rightfully we imagine Enterprise taking up one of the top 2 spots. We've got these two teams right now that are 7-7. Well, the likelihood is that one of them's not going to make the major, let alone, you know, the major qualifier LAN.
Yeah,
So
that's insane.
It's going to be a very, very intriguing playoffs once we get there. And while this result, this round, might not have the biggest impact on that, it suggests to me, with these two teams being so close, someone has to miss out. And I don't know who that's going to be.
Yeah. At this point now, Jake, we've reached the point where any two of these three teams, Chiefs, Luda, and EP, could make it to the top 2, could make it to the major qualifier LAN at PAX in Melbourne. And it could be any of the three that miss out, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Because they are so neck and neck. All three of these teams. Could be Enterprise that misses out. It could be these two.
Yeah. I would still give Enterprise, because they're the champions from stage 1, the less likely of the three. But you're right, it could still be them. Sometimes you could just... All it takes is one bad day in playoffs, and maybe you put yourself in that position, you could miss out. So, yeah,
and, you know, job's really not done at being top 2 in the region, right? We've got all the APAC teams to play against as well, which is going to be even harder.
Yeah. It's setting up very nicely. Group stage for O's finishes tomorrow. Playoffs will start next week, and that's when the real games are going to begin. And this is a good taste in this match right now.
It really is. Now, Chiefs on their defense for this final round. We're at that split bomb site, Jake. I feel like Les so often comes down to this tumultuous bomb site. And just have a look at what Ludvica have brought. We knew coming into their attack half, they banned out that smoke, and then they followed it up with the Warden. What's going on here? Karma! Quiz should really win this fight. He's got the mirror window, but he's been taken low. Elsewhere, Sage has fallen. Quiz is allowed to escape. Sage finished off now. Ludvica have an opportunity presented to them.
Yeah, not for the first time. Unfortunately, Sage has struggled in the entry battles. 1-4 now in this match.
No!
Big pick, though, by his brother onto Box. That deals with the glass. Nitro thrown out. They do lose Quiz elsewhere, and the Nitro unable to find a kill back. Advantage for Luda heading into the final minute.
Oda's getting re-aggressive here. There's a player outside the balcony, though, watching for him, and they will swing. Timed. Unfortunate there. No support from Jigsaw, who falls as well. It's all up to Brendo in the 1v3. A lot of damage onto Physics, but he doesn't finish once he starts. Karma comes for him, like it always does. Ludvica, complete the potato parody. And we have a 3-horse race in OCE.
Yeah, I mean, we do, absolutely. Ludvica beat Chiefs, Chiefs beat EP, EP have beaten Ludvica, and it sets up for what's going to be an incredible playoffs to come. And the fact that there's 3 really good teams in this region and only 2 will get to progress to the major qualifier LAN, the storyline writes itself.
Enterprise is that 3rd team in the race. They're playing TSG up next, so stick around for the last game today of OCE.
스치면 야구르지 매일매일 일어나서 부터 보는 거지 Look in the mirror say you're a winner 주문을 걸어봐 yeah. In a bad mood 바꿔버려 in a hurry 꿀꿀한 기분 털어버려 I don't worry Get through the weather feeling get better 주문을 걸어봐 yeah. I can do it better I can do it faster 내일에 스며들게 주문을 걸어봐 yeah. I can go much longer I am so much stronger 내일에 스며들게 주문을 걸어봐 yeah.
Banger after banger tell them Tina Mina do it better Banger after banger tell me who could even do that better Banger after banger Banger after banger Banger after banger Banger after banger Tina Mina do it better Who could even do this better
I can do it faster 내일에 스며들게 주문을 걸어봐 yeah. I can go much longer I am so much stronger
You know how they say it's not the destination, it's the journey?
And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And you know what?
They're right.
안녕하세요. 전 민구란이고요. 엔터프라이즈 레인보우 식스 팀의 감독을 맡고 있습니다. 오늘은 저의 커리어 클립을 되돌아보는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다.
This map, considering that Wolves play this map often, you're probably going to be able to pinpoint exactly where Mowgli is going to be playing.
At the time, we just dancing a lot of things like TikTok memes or Gangnam Style stuff, but they just take that dance for me a bit shameless dance, because I'm really good dancer. But like this dance look like really 5 years old dance, so I don't like this dance to be honest. But we just dancing on hotel like TikTok memes or Gangnam Style always, and then everyone get really high energy on hotel lobbies. But yeah, after like APL LAN event, I can dance a lot of things. I will prepare for that. At the time, there was maybe mainstream, so many camera in there, so many boys get a pressure, so I just make their smile, so just dancing or just weird stuff, and then we get a no pressure, no nervous, just we can log into that game day. Maybe I have to do that shit. Before Bliss, Wettable is really high energy, but without Wettable, Sage and Brandon a bit quiet and calm, and then Fish always, you know, IGL moment. And then Oda is a bit low energy as well, but Enterprise, Chris, Player, Tohan is really big energy, and then Jackson is good energy as well, like 4 people high energy, so everyone really high energy, so it's a really big difference, because at Bliss time I have to pick up energy, but this team, our boys pick up energy instead of me. For me, really big difference. 스테이지 2로 다시 돌아옵니다. 저희는 더 강해져서 돌아옵니다.
Well, we've seen 2 of the top teams in the region go head-to-head, Jake. Who's the 3rd horse in that race? Well, it's Enterprise, of course, and they're playing up next. It's actually a bounce-back opportunity for them, because the last game they played was actually when they lost to Chiefs, because they had a bye last play day.
Yeah.
But thankfully, they do have, on paper, a much easier match coming up against TSG.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, and you're not wrong. You know, I think that's fair to say. TSG, they picked up a pretty good result a couple of days ago against Men LFO and showed they've still got, you know, something to say about this stage. I'm not going to lie, prior to that game, I probably thought they were going to be the 7th team. That's the way things were tracking. But then they go and pick up that result, and it just kind of keeps that race wide open when it comes to the 7th spot and who's going to miss out for playoffs. And it's still very much all up in the air. I think it's going to probably come down actually tomorrow to the game between TSG and Dream Warriors. That's the way it's probably shaping up. I'm 100% certain on that at this point, but I think that for TSG, what they showed in that Man LFO win is that they're not to be underestimated. These guys aren't here to just, you know, fill out the slots and be, you know, making up the numbers. That they can make playoffs, they want to make playoffs, and they've got some good quality. I think Ned's had a really good stage so far, and we know that guys like ACOG have been around a while, same with Loyal. Machine has probably struggled a little bit this stage when you kind of look at the raw numbers, and it's been a rough debut stage for him, and Boxo as well, probably not, you know, fully firing. So a lot really kind of falls onto the shoulders of the, you know, the older heads on the team like ACOG, Ned, and Loyal.
Yeah, no, that's kind of follows the story that I've heard when I've spoken to some of the top players in their region. I had a little chat with Oda and Wedables during the last stage when we were doing all the co-streaming stuff. And I was asking them about teams like TSG, and they said, look, to be honest, they have some really gunning players. ACOG and Ned can match any of the top players in gun skill. You know, they'll still be winning their 1v1s every now and then against your jigsaws and your quizzes and stuff like that. But of course, you need more than just two good gunners on a team. You need a team well-rounded, and that's, I think, where True Synergy, ironically, because of the name, have fallen short. The synergy and, of course, getting to that next level in terms of understanding how the game works and how it plays. And they're going up against the team in the region that knows how the game works and knows how the game plays better than anybody, and that is Enterprise Esports. Right here. These guys straight on the hot on the back of EWC, where unfortunately they didn't win any games, but they did have some good performances, especially against Furia, and they're coming into stage 2 looking pretty hot. But for the first time, we have seen some cracks in the armor for them with that loss to Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I think that for me, I look at that game as more what Chiefs did and not what Enterprise didn't do. You know, I think that was the kind of game that Chiefs went into it really with, I wouldn't say a vendetta or anything, but they looked amped up. They looked like they really wanted to take it to Enterprise and kind of prove that, you know, Enterprise themselves aren't just going to clean sweep this league, and that there are challenges, and Ludvica and Chiefs are not that far behind. And so you put a little bit more emphasis into a game like that, whereas I don't think EP would have gone into that game as amped up, you know, as fired up for a match like that. For them, it was just another regular Playday game, and pretty much, I guess, similar to this now against TSG. And they would have also learnt a lot. You know, at the end of the day, there's winning and there's learning. If you kind of look at losing as just losing and you look at it as a pure negative, you're not really going to gain a lot in the grand scheme of things. And despite the fact that Enterprise won last stage, they've gone overseas recently for the Esports World Cup, that doesn't just mean you don't keep learning things. And they would have taken, I think, a lot of learnings from that loss, and we'll see if they can put that into practice here, and practice they will get, because attacking into Cafe, we know, not always the easiest of, you know, challenges. Although Cafe, I think, has gotten a little bit better in recent times. Still globally, it's the 4th best defensive map. So, you know, you think about top floor, Bar Cocktail has really strengthened up for teams defensively. It statistically has a higher win rate than Master and R6 from Lair, for instance. And, you know, you kind of look to that sort of side as being quite a strong side defensively, even Kitchen. So it's probably going to come down to, you know, Fireplace and Reading as maybe a deciding sort of site. In saying that, it's EP. They should be winning this, and they should be winning it comfortably, and they should have the capabilities, because there's such a frag-heavy lineup composition led by the best IGL in the region to crack a lot of these defensive rounds against TSG.
EP, TSG, love that. It's funny seeing EP instead of Enterprise.
Attackers need to locate.
It's funny, I'm looking back over the map stats. So we're going to Cafe, of course. You were talking about how it can be pretty defensive favored. I'm looking at how these teams have played on it. And you know, it's the map that TSG beat Man LFO on just 4 days ago, so that's great. Funnily enough, it's actually the #1 preference map for both of these teams. So TSG have not banned it. In the last 90 days, they have had it banned against them 8 times, never banned it themselves. It's their top priority map. Enterprise themselves, they've only banned it 3 of the last 10 ban phases that they have played. But no one seemingly wants to play it against them, because they haven't played it for over 2 months. Last time they played it, they beat Gaming Gladiators on it. So TSG have some big cojones, taking EP to one of their best maps, definitely their favorite map. But starting on the defensive side, like you said, will help them out.
And just to add a little bit, we didn't speak about it. Actually, shout out Wedables, who messaged me just then and kind of brought it back to my attention. But regional finals, James, is based off group stage points. So if Enterprise actually win this game, get all 3 points, they will be locked in for regional finals later in the year.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it also means that the Ludvica game and the Chiefs game did have some extra bearing on it, that Chiefs would have definitely preferred to win that one outright. That would have gone a long way to them securing regional finals. And I think now Ludvica are actually in pole position. If they win tomorrow against Man LFO, I believe that should then solidify them along with EP as the 2 teams making regional finals.
A lot of this round has rolled on by. It's pretty classic cafe stuff. EP are very good at it. Very good at clearing the map, getting to work on the vert, clearing out this util. There's a lot of util to clear. A lot of time burn on the TSG roster between the Tubarão, the Goyo, and the Smoke. And even once you get to site, there's these evil eyes to deal with.
I think also the player in my mind that never really underestimates teams' opponents and always has probably a good mentality coming into these kind of games, especially when there's a goal from, you know, skill disparity. Fisher guy, to me, doesn't strike me as someone that's going to let his team relax and treat this as if it's just a gimme. You got to treat all your opposition with the same level of respect. You don't hype up certain games and then downplay other games. You want to try and keep it nice and even, nice and flat. And also, good strategy usage here. Sans ROU, go for the plant. There should always be a response here, nitro cells, etc. But you've only got ACOG, and he hasn't even got one available. So, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty, I wouldn't say a common strategy, but it's a strategy we've seen quite a lot of, especially in recent times with the Sans ROUs. Freeze a drop, go for a plant.
Wow.
Just not switched on.
Common strategy, but to perfection here from Fisho guy. Amazing work on the Sens, what you come to expect out of him. Bappen will clean house for EP. Like you said, not switched on for TSG. They might be gunners, but when you've got Fisher guy on the other team, his big brain, and when he's got the team built around him to execute these plans with the Sens, with a plan, yeah, it's not going to work out for TSG. Brilliant attacking start for Enterprise.
Yeah, big round from Bappen as well. Gets 3 kills in that round. And again, that's really... Like, if there was a player that I would want to play with, it's Fisho, because he's going to enable everyone else. He draws attention by executing the strategy, and then everyone else gets to kind of get free picks, because TSG then have to scramble back to side, and then they're not ready for the cutoffs. EP have played that round really, really well. And I say, with this roster for Enterprise, what makes them so strong is that on any given night, Relays can go drop 15, Bappen can drop 15, Player can drop 15, Tihan can drop 15, Fisho probably can't drop 15. But they've just got so many avenues for players to be able to go pop off. They can then have nights where everyone plays rather equal. And that's just what makes them such a threat. You know, you think about Chiefs, you can't help but think if Jigsaw and Brendo don't play well, they probably just don't win. But if you say the same for EP, if Tuhan and Player don't play well, Bappen and Relays can carry the load. So that's what's made them so formidable. It's really been a match made in heaven with this roster, the way that it got kind of structured and put together. Like, this is why you don't always kind of look at every single margin of statistic, because if you go by EPS, Fisho's the 31st rated player in the league out of 36 players, James. So if you're just looking at that on face value and you don't watch the games, you say, well, this guy's not really that great. But the role that he plays in the server and outside the server probably makes him the most valuable player in the region.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at EP and Chiefs comparatively, you have 4 out of 5 of the old Bliss roster on Chiefs, and then you've got 1 out of 5 on EP with Fisho guy. But because he is the brains, he can turn all of these up-and-comers, like Relays and Bappen, into serious Tier 1 potential. As we say Bappen's name, he again finds his way into the server with a double kill. Relays, I mean, it's both rookies finding picks. TSG are getting picked apart. It's the 2 top fraggers on the defending side who remain. No, it's so over, man. I mean, this is just a masterclass. This is an opportunity for EP to flex their muscles. A flawless round to get it done. This is just showing off at this point for Enterprise.
And there's the same thing I said before in terms of, you know, there's not really losing, there's learning. And this is what TSG as a team and as individual players will be gaining from this kind of match, is the experience of learning what it takes to be the best. And right now they're getting the best version of Enterprise. Like, Enterprise, if they were to play slightly below themselves, maybe these rounds look a little bit more equal and a little bit more even, and even if they still win the rounds, it's more scrappy, but this has just been an onslaught. So they're getting an EP team that are bouncing back from a loss. They're playing really smart conventional Siege in terms of strategy, but also in terms of executing that. They're just hitting all their shots quickly. These rounds are quick so far to begin as well. You're attacking into Cafe. They like TSG are getting a lesson to the pace that they need to play to against these top teams. And maybe you can play the way they're playing right now defensively against your man LFOs and your Outlasts and all those other teams kind of in that bottom 4 bracket for OCE, but not against Enterprise. And not against an Enterprise team that when they're at their best. And maybe a good reminder of why, again, previously in our discussion with Chiefs and Ludvica, I still give these guys that #1 seed, that #1 mental, not just because of their Stage 1 champion status, but because of what their best really is. And sometimes they just got to remind some people what their best really is, because you lose against Chiefs, and didn't just lose, they got belted by Chiefs, into then having the play day off. It's easy to kind of just slightly forget how good this team is.
Easy to forget, but give them a chance and they'll remind you. I would love to see these BO3s come playoffs between EP, Chiefs, and Ludvica. We're going to have some seriously banging games, especially once they start meeting all the APL teams from Asia and APAC North. We're going to get some killer games, you know, Fearex versus Enterprise, for example. Oh, players going to find Loyal.
I mean, that's just an awkward position over towards White Stairs with the window play. I think he wants to play the corridor to try and help out Machine in backstore, but then you got to be wary. EP are not just going to go with that one-dimensional push. Now Relay's creeping through bar. They got players everywhere. You can almost feel the pressure on TSG.
Freebie surely for Fish. He can sit in the back line, but he can also be the tip of the spear for his team when he's needed. He jumps up there, and now he gets to work with the hammer on the floor. 3 players remain for TSG. It is just a matter of time.
I mean, the pacing of this game, James, it's not just the way that EP are winning, it's how quick they're winning these rounds. It may actually mean we might, like, we're technically, right, supposed to have ended today in about 4 or 5 minutes. Like, that's how, you know, delayed we are behind. But with the pacing of EP,
catching us up.
they, like, genuinely might mean we might only finish 10, 15 minutes delayed, because this game could be so quick. There's not really too much to talk about, because right now it's just EP have got really good understanding of where they need to position. TSG have no idea where EP players are at. They're just like getting destroyed. Like holding the position White Stairs, pretty normal. You're playing Cafe, you want to defend top floor, you're looking down the corridor towards Pixel. You've got to be mindful of that rappel on the window though. Like it's some basic errors here, and EP are just going to punish that stuff really, really quickly. Half swing from Boxo as well. It's, yeah. And that swing, by the way, you know, when you, you know, in this kind of position and you're kind of like peeking for information, that's an informational peek. That's not a I'm peeking to take the fight to the player that's 1 meter away from me. That's I'm just peeking to get info. Oh, I'm dead now because I didn't realize this guy's already pushed up through bar. Like the amount of space that EP are just taking so quickly in these rounds, they're just moving. They're not playing slow-paced Cafe attack styles where they're droning out and spending half the round kind of just, you know, not really doing too much. They're just taking space really quickly in good, powerful positions, and TSG just don't know what to do.
Yeah, no, it's legendary textbook stuff from EP. I mean, it feels like Fisher Guy wrote the textbook at this point. even coming into the third bans, it is so signified that EP have a good read on TSG, because TSG comes out, bans the Brava, and guess what? EP already pre-banned that Maestro at the exact same time. Expecting the potential Brava ban. Now they no longer have to play the Brava because the Maestro is out of the equation. I mean, you look at this lineup, Brava wouldn't really matter anyway. Maybe you'd go for the Aruna Gates. Not a huge amount of impact. So, love that already from Enterprise. TSG probably slamming their desk thinking, damn, I thought we were being smart by banning that Brava, but we ourselves have been read. There's nothing that they can turn to. I mean, you look at it. This team has 1 kill across the board in 3 rounds. Wait, is that right? We didn't have a rehost, did we, Jake?
No, James.
What? I'm just realizing that. Fisho guy has died once. That is all. In 3 rounds, TSG have 1 kill.
And this is when, you know, you take the time out, you think, well, let's get aggressive then. Like, let's get aggressive. But that's not always going to work out against a team like EP. EP won't mind if you get aggressive, push out of positions and try and take these fights, because they're going to back themselves in skill-wise, gun-wise. But what else do you do? TSG sitting back, they're getting swarmed, they're giving up space, they're giving up control. But if you then get aggressive and take these fights early, well, now you got Tuhan on the blitz, Bappen's on the Deimos. The EP are going to keep that pace, that aggression going anyway. So it's like a matter, like for TSG, what do? You play default? Well, that's not going to work either. It's a really tricky position to be in mentally here for a team like TSG, because you just feel so dumbfounded. You don't know what to do. These guys are pros. They're good players. But Enterprise is a step above. And so this is where you got to think outside the box really quickly here and think, can we try something that they might not expect? And even if it's not fundamentally the right way to play, can we at least catch them off guard?
Try as you might, I think it's not going to happen to catch EP off guard. Second kill for TSG in the game is found. Big one for Loyal, but it's just player. I mean, he was the flank watch. Just the gridlock. You haven't taken down any of the big power operators. You haven't taken down the Blitz or the Vert or the Shield, the Planter. And the EP get a reply as well, taking down Boxo. As the Fuse minces up that bomb site, clears out all of the util and a drone in the plant position. EP are preparing for an execute.
This is better, at least from TSG. Loyal got a kill over towards code check, so they've expanded out a bit more horizontally, trying to deny as much space from EP as possible. Drop from Fisher guy should be expected here, should be known. Like, this is something that TSG should be pretty clued on about. Good pressure from Bappen to stop the push from ACOG coming out of VIP. Fisher does get denied. Big nitro from Loyal. So suddenly the round is alive. And then just like that, in the blink of an eye, Bappen finishes off ACOG, who was down inside VIP. Relays then finds a pick elsewhere, and Loyal is low on the Warden. And because EP moves so quick in the rounds, they've still got 20 seconds. Like, it's not as if they executed with 20 seconds to go. And now they spotted Ned as well. This round is over. Ned can't cross to stop Tuhan. The plant will be successful. And as soon as he does go for the cross, he's dead.
If I'm not wrong, that's 10 kills as well for Bappen.
Yeah.
Destroying with that Deimos. Relays is also having a hell of a game too. Between the two rookies, nearly 15 kills already.
Well, I wouldn't call them rookies.
Well, it's their first time being on a tier 1 team for both of them. Like,
well,
sorry, tier 1, like top of tier 1. Like, I mean, like, you know, a contender for the championship.
Well, they did the last stage. You can't call them rookies going into the second stage.
I guess the thing is, like, you look at...
They've been playing for years now.
For sure. Most rookies have, but...
I'd call Machine a
only
rookie.
just... Sure. It depends on the context, right? If you look at, like, if this was a Chiefs EP game, you look at all of the Chiefs guys. They've been playing for years. They've been playing on top teams for years. They've been to many events. For most of the guys on EP, going to EWC was their first ever event.
Yeah, I mean, rookie internationally.
Yeah, for sure. Bappen and Relay still have that air about them of being, you know, it wasn't long ago when they were on teams like TSG, teams at the bottom of the standings. You know, Bappen for the old Odium roster, I think they came second last at one point. It's amazing to see how far these guys have come and what has realistically been like a year ago, neither of these players were anything to write home about. It's amazing the way that they've come up since then and put them into a structure like EP, and they are going to have the time of their life.
Yeah, I mean, like, by no means am I suggesting they're seasoned veterans, and they're certainly not. But I think they're now definitely in the position that they're at the peak of their powers, and this is kind of probably the start of their journey, being top players within the region.
Oh,
Relays did get the opening pick onto Loyalith. 2-1 gets shut down by Ned, and trade quickly by Bappin, who's now up to 11-0. Makes it a 3 versus 3. EP trying their best to clean sweep this match in a 7-0 fashion. I mean, the game is basically done because you just know TSG is not winning attack rounds against EP. But TSG still need to keep fighting as much as they possibly can in these final 2 halves on defense, get a couple of rounds on the board.
Every round counts as well when it comes down to...
We haven't had a 7-0 so far this group stage.
No, we haven't. We had plenty.
Or even a 7-1.
Really? Yeah, 7-2 is the closest game we've... sorry, the most one-sided game we've had. Yeah, for TSG here, every round counts, every kill counts. And the clash might help out. Not a bad idea, though, from Fisho. Oh, he needs to get it off as soon as he can, but no, he's getting swung. Bappin might be able to come and support. Oh, bit of damage onto ACOG, and suddenly ACOG has to be really careful.
Nice.
He does finish off Fisho guy. A trade for Bappin, 12-0. Worthwhile, I would say, for EP. It's fine to lose Fisho guy as long as Bappin is still alive. There's a minute to play with here for Bappin and player to finish this off. SMG 12 in hand, he's hungry for more.
Yeah, and now it is against the 2 rookies in Machine and Boxo, who've got 1 kill between them. Bampin's got 12. And they've still got 55 seconds, and they know where both players are located.
Oh.
Machine can't make that cross. Nice nade as well from player. Bappin probably would have got the kill anyway.
Oh my god.
Spot out Boxo towards Bar. Will Bappin finally die? Pops up. No, he gets the headshot. Bappin is the demon inside of the server today. 5-0 to Enterprise. They're having their way with TSG, which... TSG's worst result this stage was back on Playday 1, James. It was a 7-3 loss to Chiefs. That's their worst result. So, like, they might be a team towards the bottom and will eventually tomorrow be hoping to avoid relegation, etc. But it's not as if this is the kind of team that has been allowing 7-0s and 7-1s against the top teams. They have been competitive all stage long. But Enterprise are just a different animal today. 13-0 for the Demon.
TSG really need as many rounds as they can get here. They are currently sitting in a playoff spot in 6th place, dead at the bottom of those playoff spots. The only team coming for them is Dream Warriors. Outlast have already jumped them from the start of the day. TSG play Dream Warriors in their next matchup. And every round that TSG can get will bring them closer to guaranteeing that playoff spot. Give them the confidence to then take on Dream Warriors tomorrow. But, I mean, if TSG lose in that Dream Warriors game, don't make playoffs, they are going to be kicking themselves for what happened today. And what happened last stage as well. Remember, TSG had to unfortunately forfeit in their playoffs match. Whole BO3. It's been a bit of a challenge for this team that's, just broken into the Tier 1 scene, into the Blast OCE scene. A game like this is not quite what we would hope from them.
And earlier today, it said Neptune probably the best performance that we've seen in the stage.
Bappin wants to show him up.
At that point, well, Bappin's up to a 252 EPS, 13-0, 1-0 on the entry, 100% cost. You get it, right? Like, I mean, he's having an even bigger game than that, than what we saw from Neptune. Different circumstances, I guess. Like, when you're... Clearly, this is so one-sided, but you kind of look at the numbers. It's largely just Bappin is just running around doing whatever he wants. Boxo 06, he'll sit this one out for the final round of the half. And how long have we... I'd love to have known how long we've actually been playing this match for. It's just like 10, 12 minutes. This might be the quickest game we've ever had in OCE. If this is a 7-0 territory. Because it's not even like... It's not just 5-0, it's 5-0, but the majority of the rounds have been largely won by this point.
100%, yeah. Early opening picks, which are almost always going the way of Enterprise. We've had picks happening, most of them with more than 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah.
Same for this round as well. Opening pick was at 2:18, and now only 2 players left on TSG. There's over a minute left to go. A lot of the time, Enterprise are executing with over a minute left remaining. 2 players are low at the moment, though, so they are being extra careful.
Is Batman just going to sit outside? I mean, and he's not going to, but he's 14-0. I wouldn't give it to him if he were to just try and keep this KD going. But, you know, it would show really the mental of the player. If he's just like, I don't care if I die, I just want to kill these guys as quick as I possibly can. He's in backstore at the moment, so he's not really under threat. Fisher going for the plant. ACOG knows there's going to be one watching. Player's quite low. Good swing denial. No, actually got it through. That would have been very close. Bappin ended up finding that kill onto Ned. He's 15-0. In laundry, low, and there's the one. ACOG will put an end to him. But can he win this round? No.
Don't think it's possible. No, not happening. Not at all. Player gets him. Valiant effort from ACOG, and poor Fisher guy got absolutely sold. He did his job well, and then immediately died. But it doesn't matter because Enterprise, they're all about the team. We're hyping up the stats for Bappin, but really all EP care about at the end of the day is winning as dominantly in the right way.
And he showed he could have easily refrained a little bit. Like they were going to win that round. He could have refrained a little bit and tried to keep the 0 deaths, but he didn't. He pushed forward, gets another kill, drops laundry, then denies the backside of the site. And yeah, he was very low on health, so as soon as he gets swung laundry, he knows he's probably going to die. But it shows that he's not there for the individual. He doesn't care. He just wants to win the rounds and doing whatever possible to do it. And that says a lot. And it's only the 1 death, so technically his KD doesn't really change per se. He's still got a 241 EPS. It's only if he dies again, then it just gets, his KD is just going to get halved. But another incredibly dominant round early on from Enterprise. And yeah, I mean, they're going to win this 7-0.
Yeah. I don't think there's any world where TSG make it back from here. If they get 1 round, I will be surprised. Moving on to the attacking side of Cafe, up against EP in this current form. And you ban the castle, you ban the Azami. These are the operators that really make this map into a fortress, but it doesn't matter. This is still such a fortress on Cafe. Plus, EP have gone for the reading bomb site, which makes it so much easier to roam, play loosely, fall back. I think it's going to play even more into their hands. They're bringing the Valkyrie as well. 2 C4s. So much ability to play off of each other, play loosely, go for retakes, make aggressive plays. It's going to be nigh impossible for TSG to handle. I mean, they've brought the Nomad even. They're looking to try and suppress some aggression. They got the Black Bit. I still don't think it's enough, even with the Lion, even with the IQ to find these Valkyrie cameras. I just don't think it's going to be enough.
I mean, you got to just put everything into this round. Losing 7-1 doesn't feel as bad as 7-0. This has to be a round that you know, really... I mean, like, it's not like they haven't been trying, so I don't know what more they can really do. They get an opportunity onto attack, so it's a different atmosphere, it's a different play style now. The game is done, but can they win at least 1 round? That's now the objective. And they have the opportunity to do that here. And they get to control the pacing, right? So Enterprise were incredibly aggressive in their attacking half. TSG, whether they follow suit and try and bring early aggression, or maybe they try and see whether or not poke and prod to EP play aggressive as well on defense. And I think that's going to be what we see here. You're on the rappel. You're not really trying to rush in, try and clear out this top floor as quickly as possible. You're going to drone, get for information. There's the drone gets shot at by Bap and drops pillar. So they probably want to see what's EP doing first. Now, unfortunately, that's then reactive gameplay. So you're giving EP the license to really set the tone even on defense.
Almost a shot for Bappin. Just the goal to contest that even with the hollow sight. ACOG takes a hell of a lot of damage as he repels on inside. He's so vulnerable to being shot from the hallway. Not being swung at the moment. Machine locking down his position on the stairs. Top floor taken by TSG, but keep in mind there's still so much info on the top floor. No one from EP on those cams, though, to deliver that info to the team. TSG, maybe, just maybe they could find an attack. It means so much for them as well. To be able to go into their final playday tomorrow against Dream Warriors that will determine their fate of whether they make playoffs or whether they are done for the stage. They need to get a confidence booster. And to get 7-0'd by EP is quite the opposite of that. They need a round.
I mean, you can already see the pacing difference. It's a 5v5, 40 seconds left, but Ned does find the opening kill. That's their second one of the game so far. Tuhan enters back with Loyal's elimination. Ned will then fall. Tuhan with a double. Close shotgun from Fisho. Guy knows where. There's one above in Cocktail. That's Boxo. ACOG's taken low over towards the pillar side of the map. So those two are now separate, and it's 7-0 territory. Even with that kill from Boxo, 15 seconds. Kit in a bad spot as well from where these two players are located. There's just no time to salvage this. ACOG goes down. It's the first 7-0 of the group stage for OCE.
It's a done deal for EP. GG's in the chat. TSG did not come to play today. They got completely obliterated. And after a phenomenal match between Chiefs and Ludvica earlier today, questioning who might be the #1 in the region, EP had to give us a reminder. And they are the reigning champions for a very good reason, and they have shown that today with the 7-0, the first of OCE in Stage 2.
Yeah, I mean, a good reminder. You know, you lose badly to Chiefs into then your bye, so you don't really get the immediate response, but here is the immediate response when given the opportunity, and they didn't disappoint. Bappin was just exquisite in this series, and maybe I don't want to categorically say his best game that he's ever played, because I just genuinely don't know if he's, you know, had a better performance, but it would be hard to top that, and it certainly would be right up there in terms of what he was able to do. Individual accolades aside, the team just systematically played as perfectly as you possibly can. In the early first half, sheer aggression, but it was controlled. Everyone was on the same page. They got plants down. They executed the site nicely off the back of Fisho Guy. You think back opening round with the RIUs on the sends. I mean, they just did everything perfect, and TSG couldn't match them in any capacity, really, whatsoever. They got dominated in the opening kills. They got dominated end of round, dominated mid round. As domination as you're going to get in any 7-0. Like, you're losing rounds with a minute and a half on the clock. We're done at 3:15. I think we started at 2:50. So it was like a 25-minute game. You know, like, these aren't just rounds that were decided in, 10 seconds. There weren't 1vx's. Like, it wasn't in any way, shape, or form close. The most dominant performance of the year, including Stage 1 by EP just then.
Yeah. And that's crazy because we had Saga in Stage 1.
We had Saga.
And this was still more dominating than that. Yeah. Not a good day to be a TSG fan. Not a good day for those boys, but I'm sure they'll be able to bounce back. Of course, they do have their final match of the stage tomorrow against Dream Warriors, obviously, who were formerly Saga. Will it be TSG making it to the playoffs again? Of course, they did that in Stage 1, Jake, even when it was even more competitive, arguably, because we did have the full 8 teams, because we had GG as well. But yeah, it's on the ropes for them. They are currently ahead of Dream Warriors, but whoever wins that game will go through, so they still have to get it done. On the flip side of that, Enterprise have locked in, I believe they're locked in #1 spot now, with a big three-pointer. They're definitely locked in top 2, pardon me, as we have a look at a bit of a reflection of what happened today. Of course, it really started with an upset, Jake. Outlast over Man LFO, definitely not at all what we were expecting. Man
not
previously beat the Chiefs. No, it's certainly not in a 7-2, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the Ludvica Chiefs game lived up to the billing, and at the end of the day, in terms of this stage, I don't think it's going to have big ramifications, but in terms of regional finals, it actually does now, because Ludvica get the opportunity to win tomorrow to confirm regional finals, which is what Enterprise just did just then by winning that game against TSG. They will be representing OCE for the regional finals later in the year. If there's confusion around regional finals, it's of course not technically a part of Stage 2. It's a separate qualifier for 6 Invitational, with of course other teams from APAC, all of APL. It'll be the second LAN at the end of the year, but that's going to be top spot for Enterprise. I would imagine going a long way to probably being locked in, although I don't want to say it's confirmed. They still got to play Outlast tomorrow to confirm it. But as long as they win that game, yeah, they're obviously locked in. So Ludvica can't jump Enterprise if EP get another win, which is probably likely. And Outlast, of course, with their result today, it means they can afford to actually now lose to EP, because it's going to be one of TSG or Dream Warriors. They play tomorrow. It's an old-fashioned relegation battle between TSG and Dream Warriors tomorrow to see and to decide who's going to make playoffs.
Yeah, and of course, Chiefs are done now. Like, they've played all of their 6 games. They've got their bye tomorrow, and moving into playoffs, of course, we'll see who can take the crown. I'm so keen. I think this is actually even more exciting than Stage 1. I think Stage 1 was very exciting. Yes, we obviously had the GG story. We had the rising of Ludvica, and we had EP's debut stage as the top team. But I think this 3-horse race is really heating up. I'm super keen to see how playoffs go. But of course, we still have one more day of groups. That's tomorrow. Jake, I believe you'll be handling that one. I also believe you've got a footy match you got to go to.
I do. And of course, don't forget, it's Super Saturday here for APL. So APAC North will be coming up very shortly. And then later tonight, you'll see me again with Guz, and we'll be doing Asia. So more Siege to come throughout today, James.
Amazing. Well, stick around for that. Plenty of APL to keep you guys satiated on your Saturday. Until next time, we'll see you around the block.
「うなる里のクラクションだって」